live at the Windsor Pub from Akron, Ohio. It's the Sports Brewing Company on the SKO Radio Network. The hotline is 234-200-5110 to call or text. That is 234-200-5110 to be part of the show. And now, here's your host, Brad Gerton and Rick Carpenter.
Good evening and welcome, everybody. Thank you all for joining us tonight. We are the Sports Brewing Company. I'm Brad, joined here with Rick.
What up?
Dylan is manning the controls tonight.
What's up?
We are actually coming live from SKO Studio tonight, not the Windsor Pub. We will be back at the Windsor Pub in Akron next weekend.
Yes. Lack of manpower tonight.
Right, improvising a little bit here. So, Rick, in maybe what's best described as a personal game for the Browns, they went into Cincinnati and made a statement, maybe more than one statement today. That was very impressive.
Well, they made several statements in this game. The Hugh Jackson thing, that was just basically them giving Hugh Jackson a punch in the face. Be like, yeah, this is why you're done. This is why we're done with you. And I don't get the whole hire down there. It doesn't make any sense to bring in an offensive coordinator to be defensive. Now he's an assistant coach. I don't give a crap about Hugh Jackson.
That tells you what Cincinnati is right now. They're a joke right now.
They are a joke. They're actually they said that, they took a couple of shots at Cleveland, but guess what? You're now the joke of the NFL, and that's the way that is. Hands down, this team is 10 times better coached, 10 times better disciplined than when Hugh was there. It's
totally different team.
Completely different.
I think it's hilarious that this team, Hugh couldn't win with this team, never won on the road. This team goes into Cincinnati, wins on the road, wins back-to-back, and just lays the beat down on a team that he's now helping coach. I think that is hilarious. It's right in his face and exposes just how inept he is.
We have to give Hugh Jackson credit. He finally helped us win a game.
Right, exactly.
He did. That whole first half, if he's a defensive coordinator, where the hell was he? Because we were all over him.
He was a special assistant coordinator.
So Cincinnati, welcome to your losing streak now that you have Hugh. Enjoy it, because it might go on for a while.
Well, but here's the thing. If you're Cincinnati, I thought your second string quarterback looked pretty good, and you changed the play calling up a little bit. It's obvious when you watch the Browns.
Well, Cleveland took their foot off the gas.
Well, they
in
did
the second half.
Huge.
So probably too early, but that's part of it.
Cleveland give credit to Kitchens. The guy goes from being a wide receiver coach to running the offense. He's an offensive coordinator. This guy's calling a better offense than we did all year, and supposedly Todd Haley was this guru, the next head coach.
And St. Jackson is supposedly too. He kept telling everybody he was. Yeah. And within 3 weeks, this team looks totally different offensively. They look totally different defensively. They look more engaged. They're more inspired. They're better coached. It's complete night and day. This is what I've been screaming about for a couple of years now with Hugh in Cleveland. He was horrible at being a head coach.
And let's be honest, we talked about this. There is talent on this team. There's a lot of talent on this team.
We're seeing it.
Yeah, now you're seeing it because Hugh's gone. You didn't see it when Hugh was there because he didn't know what the hell he was doing. Baker Mayfield, that first half of football, that first half of football was pro Hall of Fame. That's Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterback right there. If he plays that way, he played excellent football. He was making the right reads. He was quick. He made good decisions.
He put on a clinic that first half.
He did.
It was very good. The whole team was really engaged.
Oh, yeah. Chubb, hats off to Chubb. Running back, but, man, you want to talk about hands. We were talking about that play where he caught it, and he actually caught the ball behind the guy's helmet. That's where he got the touchdown from. Right. You're not expecting your running back to make that catch for you. That's a catch you're not expecting most people to make.
Mm-hmm. But. Yeah. They're still working on the running game. I think Greg Williams was trying to establish the running game in the second half. I do think he took the air out of the ball too early. They're up by 4 touchdowns. But in the NFL, that could change quick.
It can.
It can. I mean, it was 35-20 midway through the fourth quarter. That game's not over yet.
He was feeling it out a little bit, and he took his foot off the gas. He should have played the third quarter
probably
like he played the first half.
Yeah, quarter too early. Take the foot off. If you're up by 3 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, you can ease up, run the football, try to work clock. That's fine, but not in the third quarter.
He did the same thing last week but he waited till the end of the third quarter to take his foot off the gas. Mm-hmm. He did a little bit too early this week, and I'm thinking he's going to learn from that because it did get a little shaky there. You were getting nervous. We weren't playing Who Let the Dogs Out yet, and fans were talking, 2 in a row. And I don't say 2 in a row until that clock says 0-0. Right. I've seen too many Cleveland games, but no, this was one that I thought we should win, and I think it was great how it ended. If you heard, Hugh Jackson was going over, and Baker Mayfield just kind of put his hand out and walked away.
Yeah, there's no love loss on Baker Mayfield's side at all.
Baker told him after the game. Look, he said in press conference after the game, said, the guy leaves here and goes to a division rivalry who we got to play twice. That takes nerve. And Baker Mayfield, if you're going to give him something to get him fired up with, don't give the boy poster board material.
Yeah, he was
one of them guys.
I heard him interviewed earlier this week, and he does not refer to Hugh with any affection at all. Like today, he said he was that guy in our locker room that asked us to play for him, and now he's coaching the other team. So he's not missing him at all.
No, and I
wasn't privy to his day-to-day interaction with him, but you could tell that he's pretty happy that he's gone.
Well, it's a completely different sideline.
And you can tell, I think the team must be pretty happy, too, because they're playing so much better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the defense has played 10 times better. Njoku can finally catch a ball.
And this looked personal. Like, you could tell they came out, and Cincinnati was not expecting that type of energy.
That first half.
They blitzed them.
It was like that first half. Greg Williams was like, okay, this is Mike Tyson versus Spinks. I'm coming out, and I'm knocking you out in the first 5 minutes of this game.
Yeah, you can say all the right things about, Hugh was our coach, and we, respected him, wish him the best of luck. But when you come out and with that kind of edge, that kind of tells you where they're at with this.
It does, and I get that, and so many athletes do that after a coach leaves.
It's a small world, It's a fraternity, so it's fine to say that.
It is,
but you can tell you
like the honesty better.
It was more personal.
That's just raw honesty. Going, nope, don't care about him. He's gone. Get him away. Don't want to talk about him. Baker definitely took it. He was pissed.
Yeah,
I remember this guy benched Baker. That's the first time he's been benched since high school. Because he wasn't benched in college, not purposely. He got redshirted.
He's probably not too upset with that. I mean, he's a rookie. That's not that abnormal.
Well, I agree, but still, it's an ego thing. I mean, and Baker doesn't have a small ego.
But if he respected Hugh, he wouldn't. I don't think he'd hold it against him.
No, but he got fired.
Right, exactly. Because he sucked.
Well, and here's my thing: I don't think he respects Hugh at all.
No,
because
no. He saw through his charade.
Baker Mayfield's a winner. Right?
Or his facade. He saw through that. Definitely. Yeah.
Baker Mayfield's won on every level. He's a winner.
Yeah,
Hugh Jackson is not a winner, especially a head coach.
Yeah, Baker only threw 5 passes in the second half after throwing 21 in the first half.
Yeah, what was he, though? He was 21. He didn't have many misses in the first half. It was
maybe 4 or something like that. Well, something like 17 or 18 for 21. Accurate. So, yeah, no, he crushed it. They looked really good today. And I just think it's hilarious that they went in there and got the first road win with Hugh on the other sideline. That's perfect. That's a great storybook ending right there.
Something to be thankful, boys and girls.
Right.
Hugh Jackson got fired.
So it's funny. I've been doing some. I was reading about exactly what Hugh's doing over there. So he's like the assistant head coach or assistant to the head coach.
He was still originally hired in for defensive coordinator.
Right. Well, he's helping with the defense.
Not really.
Supposedly. But what's great about it, and this is perfect for Hugh, typical Hugh, he has no job responsibility. He's an extra set of eyes. Like, he's giving input. Like, he's talking about how he'll give input to different coaches. And he goes, maybe they'll listen, maybe they won't. They can, use what they want and not use. But there's no personal responsibility. And even the player says he talks with Marvin Lewis a lot. So he's chattering in his ear. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm calling it. Hugh Jackson's going to get somebody fired from Cincinnati because he's going to be back-channeling in Marvin Lewis's ear, and somebody's going to get fired.
Like a girl in fourth grade passing notes back and forth.
This is what he's best at.
Hugh Jackson.
Not that he knows what personal responsibility is. He doesn't.
The rumor down in Cincinnati is that Hugh Jackson's coming to replace Marvin Lewis.
So they can go in 16.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's going to get another job. Can you believe he's going to get another job? I mean, let's grab the kid that's 13 years old and just won the John Madden and make him a millionaire instead of get this guy some more money because he's done nothing to prove that he can coach in this league.
No.
I'd be shocked if he's going to be head coach somewhere again. I'd be surprised, even in Cincinnati.
Honestly, that's what everybody in Cincinnati is talking about. I was on a couple of them chat rooms.
That's the talk of the town right now.
I haven't heard that.
Yeah. I saw that right before the game started, actually. And, well, one of my buddies, he's a Cincinnati fan. He messaged me and he says, "Fuck."
There's no way. I mean, Marvin Lewis hired him. He didn't hire him to replace him.
Well, no, but everybody's thinking because Marvin Lewis wanted him to take the job. He was supposed to be Marvin Lewis' successor. Everybody's thinking that's actually going to happen now. This guy doesn't deserve it, but he's going to get it. You watch. Cincinnati is a train wreck of an organization.
See, I think Marvin Lewis is going to get fired. He should be fired, Marvin Lewis, right?
Yeah.
And I think Hugh Jackson is going to be kicked to the curb right alongside with him. I do.
I think they need to just build from the bottom up there, or top down rather. Well, I mean, since he needs a few rebuilding years.
Yeah, but you're talking about possibly Andy Dalton's probably not your quarterback. There's so many.
Right.
This whole NFL.
You'd have to find someone better than him, though. You know.
Look, their backup looked good today.
Yeah, their backup.
Yeah, but
he looked good. But
that happens.
But
doesn't mean anything.
He was like Mr. Ohio. I mean, I forget where he played college from.
I think he played at Florida.
But yeah, he played good. He was impressed. Well, the difference was you see the catches that receivers were making in the fourth quarter. Oh my God! It was like an ESPN top 10 highlight reel.
It's not abnormal for a backup to come in and look good, especially. He came in, he's down 28 points.
Oh, you just let it fly.
Yeah, I mean, it's totally different from the team game planning for you and you're coming out and having to lead a team to victory. That's a totally different scenario.
Did you see the play in the first quarter? Randall intercepted the ball. And he flipped it straight to Hugh Jackson.
He handed it to him.
That was awesome. I guess there's already. It took like 15 minutes for an article to hit ESPN. There's already like troll memes for it already.
Right.
It
perfect.
was great.
He deserves it.
Right there, just right in your face, like, hey, yeah, you weren't the guy to lead us. We found somebody.
Exactly. He wasn't, and I think this has to be very embarrassing to him.
Oh,
this is the team that was coaching us 3 weeks ago, and they come in and smack them.
You know the playbook.
Right, I guess. I'm not even sure of that.
He should know the defensive playbook. I mean, if he doesn't, there's a problem. Yeah. They didn't put new plays in on defense. No. He should know what they're lining up in, but he didn't. He had no clue. I mean, he just sat there like always, arms crossed over his belly, and watched the game like he's done every Sunday for 2.5 years.
Yep.
And got a couple $100,000 after the game to go to the strip club.
Yeah.
And he looked surprised that they were losing.
Oh, yeah, he did. Well, and let's be honest, no one thought when you woke up this morning, you were thinking, okay, last week was a good game. We're going to have a good battle. Cincinnati's not a terrible team. No one thought as a Browns fan you were coming up and going out 28-7 at the half.
Right.
No one thought that was happening.
No.
But, I mean, it was great.
Yeah, they jumped on early and kept right at it.
Oh, yeah, that whole first quarter. If they just stayed with their foot on the gas in the second half, Cincinnati, they might have fired Marvin Lewis after the game.
Honestly, I'm surprised he's still there. It's got to be coming. I mean, this is just getting ridiculous, I think. I mean, what Cleveland's gone through, and it hasn't, what's happened to Cincinnati hasn't been this bad, what Cleveland went through. But, I mean, it's been pretty bad for a while.
Baker broke a few records today. He broke some Cleveland Browns records.
Yeah.
Well, this is the best quarterback. Like I said, this is the best quarterback we've had since Bernie Kosar. It was so nice to watch a quarterback hit receivers in stride and lead a team down the field. I mean, if you're...
he's a playmaker, for sure.
If you're a Browns fan, though, it's been since Bernie, since we've seen a quarterback like this. This guy, keep putting talent around him, keep building that line, keep a couple more pieces on defense. So like I said, if you're a Browns fan, next year is just off the wall, exciting. What's going to happen next year is going to be amazing. They should be playoff bound next year.
They should be in the hunt. It's still, there's good teams out there.
Hater.
Saying they're in the hunt, hating? Really?
Should they not be a playoff team next year?
Let's take a look at next year when next year's here.
I know the schedule.
We're not doing the schedule here in November of 2018.
That's what it is as a Browns fan, though, because this year we know
let's
we're going to be in
it,
we're going to watch every game.
Let's worry about next year. Okay, so they're 4-6-1. They have a lot of work to do to finish the year, right? Because I've already heard it tonight that they're in the playoff hunt. So
they still are technically.
Hey, technically we're not out of it. It gets worse.
Technically, if these 48 things happen,
it's less than last year.
It's less than last year, yeah. But if these,
based on the numbers, are still in the hunt, but it's a very long shot. So they got Houston next week in Houston. Houston's a division leader. What are you expecting next week out of this team?
Well, it's weird because Houston's kind of like
they're good. They've been hot.
They're good. They're a good team. They're not a great team.
They're good.
I watch them play a lot. They are wishy-washy at best on offense. Sometimes they just don't click. I have
still 7-3.
I have the record doesn't say how good a team is. It does not. It just you can play in New England plays in Buffalo.
But New England's good. That's a bad comparison.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just saying.
New England's good, but they're good against crappy teams.
Right. They've been the best franchise last 15 years.
Not this year. This year's going to be a little bit different.
Okay. Yeah, you can't win it every year. Listen, if you go into Houston and win that's a high quality win.
I think they're going to win in Houston. I think they have the defense. Well, I figured that. There's no doubt.
We pick every week. Well, I've been a lot more right than you have been.
Oh.
I just think that's asking a lot, to go up to Houston. I think for them to be serious in this postseason hunt, they're going to have to get to 6-6-1.
I don't think we're ever going to be serious in the postseason.
Right, not this year. Okay.
And it really does not bother me.
All right, you guys being realistic about it, I'm not going to knock you guys.
No, a wild card might happen if a lot of things fall in place.
It's not happening.
Like I said, a lot of things got to fall in place. But if all those things do fall in place, we aren't going any further than that.
Okay, so why don't we do this, Rick? Let's take our. Is there anything else you want to talk about this game before we move on?
No, I was just looking at the wild card stuff here real quick because you brought it up. It is possible. It's actually not that far out of the meme just because everybody in the AFC is so locked up together. It's really kind of amazing if you look at it. But, the Browns this year, all I want to see is players keep improving. That's what I said.
Yeah.
They've been improving every week. It kind of irritates me because I did look at this. Look, we lost the first 3 games of the year. We probably should have won.
Well, you're 1-1-1.
Yeah, we could have been 3-0. We could have been 1-2. But I just look back at the playoff thing that we're talking about now. It's out there. Mm-hmm. I think if we got rid of Hugh Jackson at the beginning of the season, we might be actually talking playoffs right now.
Yeah.
Because you got to look at these games that they lost. They lost Oakland on a bad call.
But you're not going to win all those games.
We tied.
Here's my point. And this is when you talk with sports fans in general, they always think if this happens with your team and this happens, if everything went perfect, then they would be 8-1 or 7-2 or 6-3. That's not how sports is.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
A lot of these teams could point to a couple of things and be like, "Oh, we could be 7-3."
No,
that's kind of how the NFL is.
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is, if you look at it right now, okay, the Oakland game, the Tampa Bay game, and there was another game where it was
the Pittsburgh game,
the Pittsburgh game,
missed kick.
But if you add 2 wins onto this team, they are right there with their wild card team right there.
Oh God,
that's where everybody's at.
You could be looking at a 7-4
that's my point.
Right now.
I mean, you'd have to have things go right, and the other team also, the other team can say the same thing too.
Well, this year, the NFL, like we were talking about this earlier, there's been great football. Every team has been able to beat every team.
We're playing the what-if game.
Yeah.
Well, no, this year in the NFL, they got so much parity going on.
Oh, yeah.
It's like every week, and that's why every week is so important.
Absolutely.
And
it's even more important now as we get down to the last 5-6
They waited a little
weeks.
bit too long to fire Hugh.
So this is why it's really hard. There is a lot of teams around 500 that Cleveland would have to jump over. So outside of the division leaders, I'm not going to count those.
Right.
Because those guys are automatically in.
Right.
You have Miami ahead of them.
By 1 game.
Right, they're still ahead of them. That's a team they'd have to skip over.
Baltimore,
Cincinnati still ahead of them. Indianapolis, Tennessee. Even if they lose tomorrow, Tennessee's still ahead of them. Chargers and Denver. That's like 6 or 7 teams. That's a lot.
But that's what I'm saying. If they'd had 2 of them early games, this team would be right there with all those teams.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Yeah, it's the truth.
Right.
And if you really want to get into specifics here, Oakland's still in playoff contention. Technically,
weird.
Technically, they haven't been eliminated yet.
Well,
the Browns last season were 0-10, and we're still technically not eliminated from playoff contention.
0-10.
Right, yeah, but that doesn't mean you're a serious playoff contender.
I just want to see the Browns not finish last in our division. I think we can win enough games the rest of the season.
I think they'll probably finish third. They're going to finish, it'll be Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincinnati. Okay. I really think Cincinnati's going to keep struggling.
Okay, I mean, they've won 4 games so far. They're 4-6-1. Mm-hmm. Do you see them winning 6 more games? Well, I mean, do you see them winning 2 more games, 3 more games?
Probably 2. They'll probably end up 6-9-1. That's a great recovery year.
Right, I get Houston, that's a shaky game. I think they could win, but I'll say they lose that one. Mm-hmm. Carolina, I think, is next.
Then they play Carolina.
I don't know what it is with Carolina. I don't have any real respect for them whatsoever. I think they could sneak that game out. Denver did beat Pittsburgh.
And they're at
today.
Denver. That's a tough place to play.
Yeah, Denver lost to.
They beat Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh lost to Denver. Pittsburgh, besides their defense, sucks.
Put up 527 yards.
Keenum played pretty good today.
He has a miracle game. But then that's
a tough place to play.
They have Cincinnati and Baltimore, and I think they beat Cincinnati and Baltimore again. So I think they finished
Baltimore,
6 or 7 wins.
especially if Baltimore has a chance to make the playoffs. They're probably going to be ready for Cleveland. That's at home.
I thought they were going to be ready for them.
I see 2 wins there. I mean, listen, they could lose to Carolina at home.
By the end of the year with Baltimore, the reason I definitely go with Cleveland is because that whole thing's falling apart. Harbaugh is pretty much like an agreement that he's going to walk away at the end of the year. Lamar Jackson had a good game today. It looks like he's going to end up benching Flacco or something. That whole organization right now. This is why, as a Cleveland fan, you're excited because everything that can happen and go right for Cleveland is happening and going right.
Yeah.
They took the right quarterback in the draft. That's been obvious. They took the right quarterback.
And when draft time happened, I was skeptical. Yeah. I'll admit, I was skeptical.
A lot of people wanted Donaldson. I was really
skeptical when they skipped over Bradley Chubb.
That actually worked out great for them.
But it worked out great. I think Denzel Ward was a great pickup.
He's really doing really
Nick
good,
Chubb was a great pickup. I think we got a good Chubb.
I'll tell you what,
Barkley's having a great year. I mean, there's a lot of good players.
Yeah, and I don't think that Saquon Barkley will be having as good a year in Cleveland. That's just
probably not.
I feel bad for Barkley, though.
He'd still be a good player, though.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
He'd be a great player, but that guy went to the wrong team. By the time New York figures it out, he's going to be 4 or 5 years into the league.
I'll tell you what.
The
NFL, it could change pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I said, being a Browns fan, look at it right now. All your top-tier quarterbacks, all your top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now are 37 plus.
Yeah.
So we're at the time where you're going to be going for. I didn't realize
there's a lot of good young quarterbacks on too right now.
I didn't realize it today. How do you think Aaron Rodgers is?
He's probably mid-30s or
34 years old. Yeah. I thought he was younger than that. So
he got a late start.
You got even Aaron Rodgers getting long in the tooth. You can tell Tom Brady finally looks like he's falling off a little bit.
He looks like he's in his 40s.
It looks like he's becoming normal. He's gone from God to human.
He's an athlete now. He's not a super athlete.
So as a Browns fan, you're sitting here going, we have one of the young stud quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And there's a few of them out there right now. There are some young quarterbacks that are finally
There's a lot of
starting
good
to
ones.
show.
There are some good ones.
But the Browns are sitting there and they're turning this organization
Cleveland
around
has
to the
one of
point
them,
where
so.
they can be a dynasty for a while.
Yeah.
It could be a 10, 12-year thing where we're looking at going to the playoffs every year, and we're talking. We'd be like Pittsburgh fans talking about the Super Bowl every year. Here's why we're going to win the Super Bowl. Instead of, hey,
we never talked about the Super Bowl.
No, I mean, it's finally there. It is finally there, and as a Browns fan, it's so exciting because you can see it, and you're starting to see it translate on the field. And they have their leader. So you know you're good with Baker for 13 to 15 years. Yeah. And that is awesome.
Let's curb the Super Bowl talk until you make the playoffs. Right, come on. I'm not hating. Let's just one step at a time, right?
All right.
Enjoy the season. The team is improving. You don't have Hugh Jackson anymore.
It's fun to watch
something
the Browns
to be thankful
again.
for. Yeah.
It's fun to watch the Browns again.
Here's a great example. You went on the road. You've got 2 wins in a row. You're an NFL football team now.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you got. You didn't have that before.
Well, and they're a good NFL football team, and no one's going to look past them this year. No one's going to. No. Because you look past them, they're going to beat you.
We're the spoilers this year. That's the truth.
Yeah,
we're the spoilers.
I mean, listen, you know, if they beat Baltimore again, that's 2 losses for Baltimore. That'll probably be they'll probably miss the playoffs if that happens.
Yep.
And Cleveland will be the reason why that happened.
And both the Harbaughs will be at home next year watching football.
Yeah, we'll get to Jim in a minute.
But did you see the play? Did you see T.J. Ward get what was it? Unnecessary roughness or whatever? It was the second half.
I heard about it.
The receiver right as he caught the ball.
Yeah.
The receiver ducked down and hits him in the head. I'm like, no, you can't call this.
Yeah, all right. We have a text to the Carp in the Minnow.
What's up, Big Daddy?
He says it's the second Browns head coach to be fired and ends up with the Bungles. You know, the great Paul Brown was fired by Fart Modell, and Houston's number 1 in their division.
Well, you see who Pittsburgh's been picking up lately.
Yeah, they're in the AFC South. I'm not really sure what that point was.
Yeah.
I don't understand that point of that text.
Well,
I've acknowledged what Houston is.
Yeah.
I think Cleveland's going to lose when they go out there. Rick's the one that says he doesn't respect their team that much.
I don't. I have Deshaun Watson.
We'll see.
Deshaun Watson's all over the field.
They've won 7 in a row.
He's either on or off.
But you don't win 7 in a row in the NFL just on the fluke. So they're not perfect. But.
You can lose 7 in a row on a fluke, though.
Trust me.
Trust me.
There's too much.
We're Browns fans. You can lose 7 in a row.
No, you guys were bad.
We were bad.
The NFL,
last year,
listen.
If you watch that team, they should have won 3 to 4 games.
So you can't make the argument that the NFL has a lot of parity, right? And then say losing 7 in a row or winning 7 in a row is a fluke. You can't. If you win 7 in a row, you're a good football team. You're overcoming a lot of parity. If you're losing a lot, that means you suck so bad that you're not taking advantages of the breaks that come your way.
He just can't admit that
Chicago fan.
Can't admit it.
Dude, he's a Chicago fan.
God.
He's had championships his whole life.
Listen, this has nothing to do with any specific team, just in general.
I know.
You can't say that as a fluke if this happens, but, there's a lot of parity. Like, no, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No, there were games last year they should have won, but that's how bad
Hugh Jackson was. You had Hugh Jackson.
That's just how bad Hugh was.
He's Cincinnati's problem now. Let them. I think it's hilarious. I'm not even a Browns fan, and I find it absolutely hilarious. They went in there and did that to them.
There's another one that's really good. What's his name? Was Johnny Manziel went out was selling T-shirts or something, put some tweet out about selling T-shirts. And the feedback on the tweet's just great. You got any Baker Mayfield stuff?
That's hilarious. He had to know that was coming.
I mean, Johnny was hyped and he flopped, and Baker was hyped and look at him. It's the tale of two. And Johnny wasn't that
different
good.
People.
Johnny wasn't that good in college.
He was talented. His problem was drugs. His problem was drugs. The guy just liked to party way too much.
Yeah. That's part of it. I'm not sure he loves football, but there's a difference. Like when he was in college, he was able to make a lot of plays with his feet, and in the NFL, that does not translate.
No,
you're not outrunning.
Yeah, you have to be able to make plays in the pocket, and he was even when he got his first start, he wasn't even prepared for that. He didn't know the playbook. And I remember that they actually played Cincinnati his first start. And I'm like, this is a disaster. This is going to be an absolute disaster, and it was.
Oh, you probably didn't.
That was when Cincinnati was actually pretty good. They had a good team that year.
You probably didn't see it after the game because I looked it up. Baker Mayfield had his phone on the field, and he's like, yeah, Cleveland fans that shut up for his FaceTimer or something. Cleveland fans that shut up for the game. We're coming home with a win. First time in a long time.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
He's perfect. He's perfect for the city and for that.
Oh, he's a blue collar guy. You can tell
he's got an attitude. And it's fine. And he backs it up.
He's taking LeBron's place as Cleveland's favorite.
Well, let's be honest.
They need someone.
I mean,
him and Lindor are probably going to be the faces of Cleveland.
Oh yeah, for many years.
And that's the thing in Cleveland, though. If Cleveland will survive without the Cavs right now because the Indians are good.
Yeah, and the Browns are exciting.
Good, and the Cavs are tanking, so you can get excited about them
in a couple of years.
Yeah, when the NBA figures out how to rerun itself.
Right.
Well, here, let's do this. Let's take our first break, and we'll come back, and we'll wrap up our NFL coverage. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Brad from the Odd Ass Broadcast, letting everybody know. December 12th at the Rialto Theater, SKO Radio Networks and AB Entertainment is bringing you a toy drive comedy show with headliner Brian Kenny, featuring Jason Moliterno and special guest Joe McCormick. For more information about the show, follow us at the Odd Ass Broadcast on Facebook.
You're listening to SKO Radio, where there is no fake news. Fact is, we don't have any news at all.
Hey, this is Brad of the Odd Ass Broadcast, Wednesdays, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. We are the degenerates of the SKO Radio Network. Tune in to see what shenanigans we are up to this week.
You know, Dylan, there's nothing better than sitting at the bar, having a cold beer, sitting there with a good friend, watching the big screen, watching the big game on the TV.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, talking about sports with your buddy, that's exactly what Rick and Brad do, too, on Sunday nights.
That's right.
The Windsor Pub.
That's right. Sunday nights at the Windsor Pub, the Sports Brewing Company, starting at 9:30 p.m. live here on the SKO Radio Network.
They go till whenever. They talk about whatever. They even have a top 5. Make sure you tune in and crack your cold one.
Are you a business owner? Are you looking to advertise? Are you looking for affordable advertising rates? Well, if you'd answered yes to these, then look no further than here at the SKO Radio Network. We here at the SKO Radio Network will put together a tailored advertising package for your business that will help generate more traffic and more revenue for you. If this sounds good to you and you'd like to hear more, give us a call at 234-706-5857. Again, that is 234-706-5857, and we'd be happy to assist you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Ost.
Hi, I'm Chris Ost.
And we're the hosts of Throwback Thursdays here on SKO Network. Catch us every Thursday for our show Throwback Thursdays from 6 to 9
p.m. on SKO Radio Network.
You are listening to the SKO Radio Network.
Hi, folks. Handy Randy. Some Kind of Radio. Every Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, we take your themes. First off, we need you to go to yesterday and today's classics, music, chat, trivia, and games, and join that Facebook site. Once you do that, then watch for the themes and the requests. Tuesday night, 6 until 10, classic rock and roll. Promise will knock your socks off.
In the beginning, Pat created ham radio heaven. But somehow it just wasn't enough. Listeners wanted more. So they went back to the drawing board, hoping to create that perfect show.
Something's going to happen. What? What's going to happen? Something wonderful.
Join Dale and I for Radioactive as we discuss technology and life in the world around us. That's Radioactive, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays here on SKO.
We're back with the Sports Brewing Company live from the Rising Star Studios at the SKO Radio Network. Call in now, 234-200-5110. Now, here's Brad and Rick.
The Carp and the Minnow.
Carp and the Minnow. Welcome back to the Carp and the Minnow show. Brad doesn't want that to catch on. Brad doesn't want that to catch on.
No.
It's a joke.
Sorry, Big Daddy.
That's not going to be our.
No, you guys got a real good name, the Sports Brewing Company. I think that's perfect.
Everybody who's heard it loves it.
Yeah, that's the perfect name.
Because I'll have people ask about it, and they're like, "What do you guys call it?" I'm like, "We're Sports Brewing Company." And they're like, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, that's great. It's great.
Yeah, and I said we broadcast live from a car in Akron. They go,
right.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. So, okay, Rick, big topic here in the Cleveland area is Greg Williams and the head coaching position that is up for grabs after the season. As most of you know, Greg Williams is the head coach for the rest of the year, doing a pretty good job, actually.
He's doing a real good job.
So, Rick, what's your feelings on the odds of Greg Williams keeping that position as head coach?
Well, let's see. Since he took over, they're what? 2-1. Since he took over.
2-1.
The game they lost was Kansas City. They were in that game till the fourth quarter, and I thought he did a good job coaching that team. That's a Super Bowl team.
They were in it against the team who's going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, well, now you're not going to win the Super Bowl. Let's not get too high.
They're one of the teams that can compete for it.
They're going to win it.
Yeah, but
I'll call it now.
You have Kitchens, who I thought did a good job stepping in from wide receiver coach to offensive coordinator.
Yep.
I think Greg Williams, when they sit down to interview him, I think they're going to talk with Baker Mayfield. And I see that happening, and I see them going, look, you're our franchise guy. You're the guy we're building our team around. Do you like Greg? Do you get along with Greg? And I don't see Baker Mayfield and Greg not getting along, because they both, Baker, Dorsey, and Greg Williams all have the same attitude. They all hate to lose. They're all cocky about it. They're all out there, and they want to beat you up, and they want to send you home.
Oh, we were watching the video of Greg Williams when he was still a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, he's yelling at these guys, telling them, this is why I'm cutting you.
Yeah.
I'm cutting you because you show no effort. And he's not saying it as nice as I am, even though
he's saying, get your shit together.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you think Greg has a real good shot at keeping this job.
I think his main problem will be his age. I think his age is going to be his main problem. What's up?
Okay, go ahead and patch it through.
All right. You're live with the Sports Brewing Company.
And the Carp and the Minnow. You gotta preference it.
No.
It's not a name change. It's not a name change. It's an add-on. It's just like Jim Rome has to do or what causes.
We haven't settled on an add-on yet.
We got a gimmick going on. You got to get this thing on fire.
I'm working on it, Big Daddy. I'm working on it.
We have to fine-tune it.
And then the Sports Brewing Company, you ain't even in the bar. So how's it tonight?
Well, we can't change our name for the night.
I thought Rick would be doing handstands or something in the bar.
Oh, I did handstands earlier, buddy. I mean, it was a double win today. You know what I mean?
After yesterday, you should have been.
Oh, let's hold off on the Michigan game. Put it this way, both Harbaughs are going to be sitting at home watching it next year, I think. But, yeah.
One of them's going to be on the other one's staff, or maybe.
You know, it's funny that you called, because I said earlier, watching Greg Williams coach, and one of the things I like about him is how he'll yell at a player and how he'll get in their face. And I was talking about this earlier. Greg Williams reminds me a lot of Bill Cowher. And I had a lot of respect for Bill Cowher as a Pittsburgh coach. I thought he was a hell of a coach. And that's who Greg Williams reminds me of. What do you think, Big Day? You think he reminds you of Cowher?
Any of those defensive guys, old school defensive guys, they have that mentality. Wasn't he the guy that one of his knocks, he was with the Saints on that bounty gate?
Yep.
Yeah,
he was. He was one of the ringleaders of that. Or at least he took the fall for it.
He got caught.
I don't give a shit about that with him. I mean, it's just, like they always say, you got to connect with these younger guys. But some of them need some discipline, and some of the bullshit that goes on 9 out of 10 times on the field, some dumbass penalties. And how many times have the Browns over the years found ways to beat themselves? Like the one time the guy took his helmet off, and they just made it the
I remember that.
That was the first game back. That was against Kansas City.
I remember that.
His helmet came off on about 40 yards away from the play.
Yeah, jumping around on the field. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, just, you go back to that. There's been no, my point, I've told you when we sit around after a few beverages and,
a couple of Jaeger bombs.
A couple of those always help.
So, I got a question for you, Big Daddy. You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
So I got a question for you. Did you watch the Pittsburgh game today, right?
Yeah. Brutally.
What do you think is... So what's your take on this team, this year's Steelers team, and what do you think their biggest problem is?
Relying on Ben too much, he says. They're not running the ball.
Mm-hmm.
They should be imposing their will by running the ball on teams.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the good teams are running the ball today with some of the pass, but Ben set a record for most completions ever in the first half, and I don't. In the Broncos have one of the worst rush defensives in the league. I just didn't understand it. They play down to their opponents at times. They even under Cowher, they would play down to their opponents. Different personnel. I don't know what it is, man. Just turnovers.
So this stood out to me. So the Steelers, they're known throughout their history of a running football team, ground and pound. And remember a couple of years ago, even the ownership said we need to get back to Steelers football, right?
Well, they've said that time and time again. They don't do it.
Okay, but the NFL is changing. But still, this is a very telling stat from today that I noticed. Pittsburgh Steelers, the first 9 plays were all passing plays today.
The NFL,
and that's very telling of what the NFL is.
The NFL is changing, but in the AFC North, in the Browns, Pittsburgh, and then you got even New York and New England. You know this, if you play up north, you better be able to run the ball come December and January, because that's when winning time is, and that's when the weather changes.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I don't know what they were trying to prove today with that. I have no clue. It's beyond comprehension because
I'm not a huge fan of Tomlin, Big Daddy.
Unless they're trying to take some, are they rethinking their are we using too much, 20 some plus touches a game, because he was on pace to go over what Le'Veon Bell did for last year.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, Le'Veon did almost 4 something. He was going to be 10 more touches higher than Le'Veon Bell if they would have continued.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't worry, you won't pay him either.
It's smart not to.
I did, but they should have ran the ball down their throats, in my opinion.
Yes, they should have.
My biggest problem with Pittsburgh this year is they turn the ball over too much. Roethlisberger's on pace for 16 interceptions, which is a lot for an elite quarterback. They are losing fumbles too, and that's kind of a fluke thing. But when you add in the interceptions and the fumbles, I think that's going to be their big downfall.
Roethlisberger's hit or miss a lot. I mean, Roethlisberger's a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Dude, he had 462 yards.
But when Roethlisberger's accuracy goes away, it goes away for a game. I mean, it only went away for half of a game last week.
But I think he had 2 more interceptions today.
I believe it. When he has a bad game.
One was really bad. At the end of the game, that was horrible.
I think they're trying to outsmart teams, and they shouldn't be. They should just do what you do best. Because they tried to do an RPO that last play,
right?
And Ben, he would have been intercepted by the cornerback anyway.
Yeah, there was two defenders right there. Yeah,
the NFL
was a very bad read.
The NFL is going to have a problem with this because they have to start calling that the RPO when they're doing it as a pass. The blockers are too far down the field. They've been talking about this as defenses. He goes,
they got to call it. That's why that rule's there.
It's so offensive oriented right now. You can't give them another one and not call illegal man downfield.
Right.
And that's what this with run pass option. It's always.
What's she say?
What's up, buddy?
He says they're trying to rely on Ben too much.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
He threw 56 passes today,
and that's
a lot. That's a lot. And it wasn't like they were way behind or anything. It was a close game the whole time. 56 passes. Wow.
Well, they had 500 and some yards and only scored, 17 points?
17 points.
That's a low score for 500 yards.
Okay. Let me finish.
Well, the turnovers are part of it.
Yeah.
Turner at wrong time of the and I mean Connor was trying to go for extra yardage and was trying to make.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
sometimes
you can live with.
Sometimes fumbles are fluky. Yep.
Well, I mean, Pittsburgh's a good team. They're going to win games, and they're going to win this division because it's not the hardest division in the world to win. But let's not get it wrong that there were problems in that locker room before the season. There might still be problems in that locker room. I mean, some people like Bell.
I mean, if you really want, there's 2 guys that are on the radio. Anytime when we were traveling a lot over the, up to visit Keith when he was in the hospital, Tunchilkin and Greg Wolfley, 2 former players. It's called In the Locker Room. It's on the Steeler Network. Mm-hmm. They said no, the locker room's not divided. Those guys, they have firsthand knowledge. There's nothing inside the locker room like last season. They said it's more cohesive unit than last year's team was more divided. Mm-hmm. For whatever reason, I think Le'Veon Bell being out of the locker room probably helps unite that locker room.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually.
No matter what the national press says, I mean, there's everybody was going by what Le'Veon Bell told whatever Shap's son, and he didn't live up to any of what he told Shap's son.
Right.
So you can't. I mean, so why? Those guys had every right to say what they had to say when, hey, when they were all getting on those linemen, the player, the one guy is the player rep for the Steelers, and they were like, all the national media was like, they should be talking about other people. They weren't talking about other players' money. They were talking about their money. They were like, I make $7 million.
No, in general, I think the players handled it pretty good from what I've seen. They didn't really comment much on it. They're like, listen, we want him here, but if he's not going to be here, we're just going to move on, So I thought it was pretty good, handled pretty well, actually, by the whole organization.
Hey, guys, I got to go. He needs something. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
But he wants to be.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for the call, man. Appreciate the input.
Hey, I'm not trying to change the name of the show. You need to get a gimmick going, man.
I know. Well,
the other part, guys were being dismissive of Houston. That's all my point.
I wasn't.
Houston's third in their.
Trust me. Sometimes, the Browns fans, they're not used to winning. They get a little overexcited when they win a game.
Admitted hater.
It's the truth. Yep. I mean, here we got a caller saying we're being dismissive of Houston, and that wasn't me at all. That's you.
Oh, he's a Pittsburgh fan.
All right. Thanks for calling, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. Okay, so let's wrap up here, Greg Williams. So Here's my take on this. I think it's a long shot for him to keep him. I'm not saying he wouldn't be the right person. I think Dorsey, he's going to look at other people. And I don't know which direction he's going to go. I have no idea. I think he's got a pulse on the team. Obviously, I think he's happy with the direction the team's going. And that's going to carry some weight. But if he gets wowed by someone who can, really take the team in the direction he thinks it should go with the personnel, and I don't think Mayfield's going to have a lot to say on it. I think he'll know if it's going to work. I think Mayfield's professional enough to where he'll make it work, as long as he respects the guy that they bring in. So I'm thinking it's going to be someone else, but Greg Williams so far he's done a great job. I'm not knocking him at all. So that's just my take on it.
All right. Yeah, and I think he's going to have a shot. I think Kitchen should definitely have a shot at an offensive coordinator job.
Oh, yeah.
But that's going to be up to the head coach. It should be up to him, right? So
yeah, it always is up to the head coach. Or that's a weird thing because the head coach is up to the GM. So most of the time,
right. So that's how it should be. The GM hires the coach, and the coach hires his staff. You don't want to have the staff already there for the coach. Because then you can have an error. That was one of the reasons why this Hugh Jackson thing blew up from the beginning too.
Oh,
so
he can't coach.
Right, he sucked to begin with.
It didn't blow up because of that.
So if you want to set up right, head coach answers to the GM. Right, he should be back channeling to the owners like Hugh Jackson was.
Right, I do agree with that.
And then the staff is hired by the coach and answers to the head coach.
I think part of it's going to be, and honestly, like we were talking about, I think Greg Williams has done a great job, but I don't think he's going to get it partially because of his age. He's not going to coach that much longer, so I think his age is going to have a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a long shot, and even if he doesn't get a job, he'll land somewhere.
Right.
And
he'll be a defensive coordinator. That's what he is. He's a defensive coordinator.
So, Rick, I want to talk about the epic Monday Night Football game from last week briefly. 54-51, we don't see a lot of scores like that. And it was very entertaining, even for me when I complain about all the offense. That game was really entertaining.
It was, and the thing that I think helped people that love the game so much. A lot of defensive people didn't like the game. There were there's probably 5-6 huge defensive players that made it look like they were playing defense, but they didn't do a great job of overshadowing how bad defense was.
Well, I listen to sports talk a lot when I'm during the day, and the narrative was, and there's a couple of local people here in Cleveland who I do listen to, local talk shows. They were talking about how there was no defense, and I disagree with that. I think, I'm not saying this was a defensive clinic, but
even the national media was talking about no defense. A couple guys and former players were coming out.
I disagree with that, though, and that's fine. There was enough defense where the game was interesting to me. Like, people are like, there was one person who was talking about how there was no suspense. Every time someone got the ball, they would score. That wasn't the case at all. I actually looked at the numbers. The Rams had 14 possessions. They scored on 7 of them. Okay, KC had 15. They scored on 7 of them. So there was some suspense. It wasn't like they were just going up and down the field the whole time. The defense was making plays. There was 3 defensive scores. Okay, there was also the Rams had 3 sacks. KC had 5. It wasn't like they weren't making plays. This league is geared toward offensive play, and when you have offensive-minded coaches with the weapons that those teams have, it's really, and the rules, it's tough to cover them. Well, it's tough to stop them.
Well, especially considering what we were talking about earlier was run-pass option. That's what Kansas City runs, and that's what every defensive coordinator has bitched about all year long. You're letting an illegal man downfield every time on this play. There's an illegal man downfield, and they're not calling it.
They should call that. They should try to. Honestly, I think they want the offensive action.
They want the offensive action because they don't want the hitting in the NFL anymore. So they need the big highlight touchdown. I'm the guy that used to sit there on Monday Night Football and you made sure you got there early because hard hits was on, and that's football.
But see, like, to me, you can watch some 50-50 scores and it would be totally just up and down the field. I don't think that was the case in this. I think it wasn't quite as bad as some thought. I think the people who talked about it, I'm not saying they don't know the game at all, especially guys who played. Sometimes there's knee-jerk reactions. If you look at it from the numbers, it was actually a little better than that. But I don't think people realize there was actually 7 punts in that game. So the defenses, they did make some stops.
Look up total yards. It's off the charts.
Yeah, of course, dude. They put up 105 points. I'm not saying the offense didn't dominate the game, but there was enough defense to where the game was, to me, it was entertaining, and there was suspense in it because they were making plays.
And they're in the entertainment business, and that's what it's all about, and that's why it's offensive oriented.
And especially how good and finely tuned those offenses are. It's pretty cool to watch.
They are. They're very good. They're both very good offenses. They both run that RPO. And that's something that I like the Rams in that situation a little bit better, and they won. I do like the Rams a little bit better. I think their coach is a little bit better, but both those teams have a good young upcoming quarterback. I mean, but you got to wonder if there's both. I don't know if the Rams. I haven't watched them close enough, but I know Kansas City runs that RPO. When the defensive coordinators figure it out, it's going to be the same as the Wildcats.
The Rams, they run a lot of misdirections, and so they have a lot of guys in motion.
Yeah.
And so the defenses are always trying to adjust at the line of scrimmage. So
I watch them play. It just seems like every third play they have to go 50 yards.
So they'll have a wide receiver, cutting across the field, and then they'll hike the ball, and they don't know if he's going to get it. Someone else will then cut across. I mean, there's a lot of movement with that offense, and it creates a lot of confusion. So, and they're creating matchup problems. That's what they're trying to do.
And Goff is turning into a quarterback. Goff is becoming a very good quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk a little bit about today's action.
So, I just wanted to point out on that Monday game.
Okay.
That's the first time in NFL that both teams have scored 50 points.
Oh yeah.
It was. I think it was the third highest score ever too.
I just remember someone. We were sitting there one day, and someone goes, "Oh, it's going to go under the total." I go, "The total's only 66," and I said, "Only 66."
And I think that's the highest it's ever been in the NFL.
Yeah,
the total
105 was
ridiculous. Well, I remember I was texting a friend of mine right around halftime, early third quarter. I'm like, "This is going to break 100." He's like, maybe. It might be close. I'm telling you, it's going to break 100 because that fourth quarter is going to be off the hook.
Mm-hmm. And
that's what happened.
There were 4 lead changes in the fourth quarter.
Yep. So that was fun to watch. I did enjoy that.
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're fine.
I wanted to throw that in there.
So Rick, let's talk about Baltimore and Oakland real quick. Mainly just because.
Welcome to the SKO Radio Network. You can find us online at skoradio.com. We're also on the TuneIn app where you can listen with your mobile devices on the Google Play and Apple Store. Find us on social media at facebook.com/SKO Radio Network. You're tuned to the SKO Radio Network and online at skoradio.com.
28 yards, but his rating was only 58.4.
14 for 25 is probably going to be about where he is. I mean, that's probably better than where he is.
He's not going to be the most accurate passer.
No,
he's not.
He wasn't accurate in college. He was not accurate here.
It's going to be.
How much did he run the ball, though? I didn't see. I'm looking it up right now. Because they killed
he had under 100 yards. So it was 11 carries. I don't know if it was even more than 70 yards.
11 carries. How many carries?
11.
Welcome to the SKO Radio Network. You can find us online at skoradio.com. We're also on the TuneIn app where you can listen with your mobile devices on the Google Play and Apple Store. Find us on social media at facebook.com/SKO Radio Network. You're tuned to the SKO Radio Network and online at skoradio.com.
Baltimore's team the rest of the year, huh? Baltimore.
So regardless of the schedule, they're right now in the playoff hunt. So
okay, well they play the Falcons next week. Wow, that's
a win. Sorry.
How bad are the Falcons?
Sorry, I'll take it back. They'll be 7-9.
But then they play the Chiefs. Then they get lucky and play the Buccaneers. Then the Chargers. Then they're 8. Then us.
8-8. Yeah.
They have a shot. They have a shot at this.
They have a shot.
Yeah,
they do. Yeah.
And Flacco's their quarterback. Once he's ready, he'll be back there. Now, he's got to play better, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
And you brought up Carolina earlier. They're on a 3-game losing streak now. They just lost at home to Seattle. Last-second field goal won it for Seattle.
I'm not a fan of Cam Newton. He's sometimes he's just not. He's Lamar Jackson. He's not accurate. And then when they went to the Super Bowl, he was like, he didn't miss all year. But I've never been a big fan. They don't have any weapons besides him either. I mean, they got McCaffrey and not Vince Young, but Cam Newton. I don't see them going anywhere.
All that work they did to start the year, they're 6-2. Now they're fighting for their life for a playoff spot. And Seattle, they're 6-5 now. They got right back into it. So
they did, and I mean they've turned it around. But
Russell Wilson had a really good game today. I want to briefly give a shout out to Chicago on Thanksgiving.
Really?
Oh, Shaka! I can't talk about the Bears now.
We're not allowed to talk about the Browns.
We talked about the Browns for almost an hour.
They're the home team.
There we go.
Okay, we talked about them.
Go ahead.
We got the Bears made a good game, but
go ahead.
All I'm going to say is it is good for them. Their backup quarterback go on the road and get a win. So that's always good to do in the NFL. That's a good win for them.
Said, what's the top 5 category tonight? We've got a top 5 sent in. Rick's least favorite Browns coach. There's only one. Q.
Oh, you want to pick a top 5 real quick to do? Let's do action movies.
Top 5 action movies.
I don't know. I'm not prepared for that today. We need to come up with one today.
Okay, top 5 action movies. You got to do something on the fly.
We'll come up with one next week.
No, it's top 5 action movies. Call or text it in.
All right.
You can do one on the fly. Chicago's 8-3. They're destroying that division, which has got Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers, there's a wasted talent out in Green Bay. How bad of a coach is McCarthy?
I don't want him.
You only have 2 Super Bowls with 2 Hall of Fame elite quarterbacks? Really? You got Brett Favre considered one of the greatest of all time?
Oh, yeah.
Not in my personal opinion.
But widely considered.
Aaron Rodgers considered best quarterback in the game, and you've only got 2. I mean,
well, if the Packers lose today, they are out of the playoff hunt. They'll be 4-6-1. You're pretty much done.
Yeah, no, but I mean the Bears. Give credit to the Bears. Khalil Mack. Every Bears fan should wear a Khalil Mack jersey. That's it. Because that right there turns your whole season around. That signing was awesome.
He's a big piece. They have Trubisky has done really well. He's improved a lot, and Nagy I think is doing a really good job with the play calling offensively. He's one of the young coaches who is innovative. The Bears they have a lot of weapons. He gets the ball to them, open space. He has a lot of movement.
Well, Trubisky's looked very good in his second year, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I said before. He's like this year's Goff, where he's just really improved a lot. So sometimes, and just like Goff, they switch head coaches. McVay is out in L.A. now, and he's an offensive-minded coach, and he's brought out the best in golf. The same with Nagy and Trubisky in Chicago.
How good of a chance do you give? What do you think Chicago's chances are for a Super Bowl? You think they're
not the favorite?
Do you think they're a Super Bowl contender? Or you think they're
a contender? I think they can play with anybody, but it's going to be tough.
They're an NFC Championship contender. We'll put it at that. I honestly don't think this is their year. I think they're close. I think they're close.
Yeah,
I'm realistic with the Browns, but
you're a little unrealistic with the Browns. But it's going to be tough for the Bears to go on the road and win in L.A. or New Orleans for sure. So, yeah, I mean, it's probably I don't think it's their year either, but I think they could give them a game. Yeah. I think it'll be fun to watch. Actually, the Bears play the Rams in a couple of weeks, so that'll be interesting to see how their defense stacks up against that offense.
Well, that division never turned out the way you thought it would, did it? I mean, that's the black and blue division. You figured that, and for Chicago to have a 3-game lead, that's nuts. No one on earth. Everybody had Green Bay winning that division hands down.
Or Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah, well, Minnesota. Yeah, I had Green Bay. A lot of people say. But yeah, Green Bay, Minnesota, then maybe Chicago, and they're just balling. Mm-hmm. And Khalil Mack is such a stud.
Yeah, well,
game changer.
He makes the rest of that defense really good. Like he's an elite player, and then there's a lot of good players there, but they needed that one player to put them over, and not everybody else has their role. And then when Khalil Mack's getting double teamed, the other players now have their opportunity to make plays.
How dumb does Gruden look?
That secondary is really good, too.
How dumb does Gruden look? You can't trade Khalil Mack.
I agree with that.
I mean, what's the odds of you drafting a Khalil Mack? What, 101?
Yeah, very slim.
I mean, this guy's a generational player.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know what he's doing there, so hopefully he's got a master plan, but right now
he's got $100 million, so it doesn't matter if he has a master plan. That is highway robbery.
He's laughing.
Who are you talking about? Khalil Mack?
No, we're
Gruden?
Yeah, he's laughing.
Oh,
He's got 9 more years guaranteed.
Yeah, but he's
destroying. He's trading away so much talent. I mean, come on, trade away his best offensive weapon, trades away a generational linebacker or defensive end.
Yeah. He could go 0 for $1 million and still have that guaranteed 10-year contract.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it gets better for him. So,
well, that's the thing. He's an old style quarterback, old style coach.
Yes.
And that old style coaching, it's changed a little bit. He doesn't do analytics. He doesn't do a lot of the new styles that they use. He doesn't I guess he wouldn't use. They have GPS for their practice jerseys, so they can see if they run the right routes, if they're accurate enough. Mm-hmm. He won't use it. He won't look at it. Well, this is giving you, instead of your eyes saying, he ran 7 yards and turned on a dime.
Well, in his defense, he is really good at breaking down film. He is. So he could probably watch the film and know what's going on, really well. So I think he's relying on that.
Maybe a little too much. He's 2-9. 2-9 and traded away Amari Cooper and your boy, Khalil Mack.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, he's got a heck of a draft coming up, but
so
you can't draft a Khalil Mack. I mean, maybe Joey Bosa's a Khalil Mack, but
maybe he
hasn't played yet.
I think he wants to be the highest paid player on the team. That's why he let Khalil Mack go, traded Khalil Mack.
Oh, well, Derek Carr gets paid, doesn't he? Doesn't Carr?
I'm sure he does. I was just kind of joking there.
Well, no, he might be the second highest paid.
Right. They'll probably get rid of him soon, too, once he finds out what he's making.
Well, he's kind of fallen off. Remember, a couple of years ago, we were talking about him as possibly he's making that turn. He's making the leap to the next level. And, in his defense, he doesn't have any weapons anymore. I mean, and the defense doesn't stop anybody. So,
yeah, no, they're not that good right now. They're just not that good. Okay, Rick, let's shift gears a little bit, and I want to talk about what's known as the game in these parts. And I know
no, can we stick with the NFL? It's having a much better time.
We got to talk about
it. No. Look, we still got the Patriots-Jets game. The Patriots won today.
Yeah. What else is new?
Central Florida won. You want to talk about Central Florida?
We will talk about
Central Florida. You should be number 4 right now, number 4. And I said that before Michigan lost, by the way.
Okay, so the game.
That wasn't a game.
What the hell was that?
It was such an ass beating. No one gave me shit for it. No one even said anything to me. No one picked on me at all. Normally I turn my phone off after the game because I get so many text messages. You know this. You've been there. I didn't get one text message. People are just like, We beat you so bad we don't need to talk about this anymore.
Proof's in the pudding, man.
This was Ohio State showed up. They looked like the best team or second best team in the country.
That was the best game for sure.
Dude, there's so many memes out of that game. Harbaugh got out-coached, I think I honestly said this the night before the game. I said Urban Meyer is going to give a one for the Gipper speech and tell them he's retiring at the end of the year. And they're going to just pound him. And, it was ugly.
This is a tough one for Harbaugh to live down. And for Michigan in general.
That's a tough thing.
On the revenge tour?
Revenge of the what? It's like the original 3, you know. You don't want to watch them. If Urban Meyer doesn't announce he's retiring soon after the season's over, Harbaugh will get fired. Harbaugh's saving grace will be Urban Meyer announces it after or before that bowl game that he's retiring, or else Harbaugh's going to get fired.
I don't think Harbaugh's going anywhere yet.
Harbaugh is getting fired. Dude, Michigan alumni will not put up with it. Harbaugh is getting fired. You cannot lose to Ohio State in record fashion.
I think it's, seven straight.
Harbaugh's
lost 4 in a row.
It was a pounding. Like, literally, there's a meme where it shows Urban Meyer going, am I supposed to call the police for this ass beating?
It wasn't that long ago when John Cooper he was Ohio State's head coach and couldn't beat Michigan either.
That was a long time ago. Where have you been? That was 15, 20 years ago now.
Right.
I mean, we've had
but he was at Ohio State for 10 years
and 7 years of Meyer.
Right. No, but I mean that's not all on Harbaugh. I mean, Michigan's been getting the bad end of this matchup for a long time, but that's not all on Harbaugh.
Well, no, but 25% is. He's 4 of them.
Oh. Yeah, so I don't think he's on the chopping block yet, but I can see it next year if he doesn't find a way to beat these guys at some point, especially that game's at home next year. So I think he's going to have another year. I do.
No, he's gone. I'm telling you, it depends. Urban Meyer has to retire quickly.
So what does this say about Ohio State? Like, what's your take on their chances here for the playoffs?
Which team?
Ohio State.
Which team?
The team that almost loses
to Maryland. There's only one Ohio State.
The team that almost loses to Maryland, or the team that shows up and beats the number 4?
The team that gets throttled by Purdue.
They're not perfect. That's what Ohio State is. They're not. They played great.
They played
Saturday.
They played. If that team shows up that showed up Saturday, they can beat any team in the country. That team can play offensively with any team, and that defense was all over the place. It was disgusting. They couldn't stop the run. Run the ball.
I think part of it is the Big Ten's a little down. I do. I think that's part of it. In general.
Well, Michigan was the number 1 defense in the country.
Right. They play most of their games in the Big Ten.
They still play.
Michigan's a good team, dude. So don't take it personal.
No,
I'm just saying it's part of the conference.
I'm just saying they've still played Notre Dame. They lost to Notre Dame, but they held them down. I mean, they had the number 1 defense in the country. But Ohio State went out there and nailed their ass to the wall.
I mean,
you don't get the number 1 team in the country because you're in the Big Ten. You get the number 1 team in the country because
you're good.
Yeah.
Okay, they are good. But I think part of those numbers are inflated because of the Big Ten's a little down this year. That's all.
Right. I'm just saying that Ohio State team that showed up Saturday could beat any team in the country.
I'm not convinced of that.
Why?
I don't think they could play with Alabama.
Alabama does not have the defense.
Yeah, they do.
Not that Michigan has.
Yeah, I think if Alabama played Michigan, they would beat them just as bad or worse. Definitely. It'd be embarrassing, dude. It would be. And listen, Alabama will beat most schools like that, outside of maybe Clemson and
right. No, well, if that Michigan team showed up Saturday, I think Michigan would get pounded. But Michigan's defense is good enough to keep them in most games. I don't know what happened. We did have one of our main guys not be able to dress, but they just pounded them.
So Washington State lost. So here, they were ahead of Ohio State in the BCS.
Yeah.
The other school is Georgia.
LSU, right? LSU lost too.
I think they were behind them. So you had Georgia, you had Oklahoma, Oklahoma won. They beat West Virginia.
Oh, my God, you want to talk about no defense. Did you watch that game?
That's a Big 12. That is a Big 12.
Let's just have a track meet. We're going to throw a football every 5 seconds, and you run 100 yards. That was...
Yeah.
Come on, that's not football.
So it's going to come down to Georgia, Oklahoma, and OSU. I'll get to UCF in a minute. But
Notre Dame's in.
Yeah, well, those schools are in. So you got, I think it's going to be Alabama, Clemson, and Notre Dame regardless. So I think if Alabama loses to Georgia, they're still going to get in. That's the 4 seed.
Yeah, they're not going to throw Alabama out. So they're not going to lose to Georgia.
No, probably not. So it's going to be, if Georgia wins, they're in. And then you also have Oklahoma and Ohio State. I think those are the 3 schools fighting for that last spot.
And it's a crime. It is an absolute crime. Because I said it, and I said this before the game. I said, I will tell you right now, Central Florida still deserves to be number 4 over Michigan. They're undefeated. Grant, they lost their quarterback, but until they lose, you got to give them a chance.
Yeah, let me get to them in a minute, and then we'll have our USCF discussion. I totally agree with you. So Oklahoma, I wanted to really look at these two programs. They both had 1 loss. Oklahoma lost to Texas, who's been ranked. They actually played Texas again in the Big 12 championship. Okay, ranked school, having a good year. OSU, so they had a 3-point loss to Texas. Ohio State had a 29-point loss to Purdue.
Right.
They played Northwestern.
And they're going to win. They're going to beat Northwestern.
Which ain't going to help them any.
No, I think pounding Michigan I think that was Urban Meyer's way of saying, hey, we can get in if we destroy these last 2 teams.
So let's say Alabama beats Georgia, okay, which they need to have happen, I think. Yeah. And Oklahoma and OSU wins the respective championships. Who's going to get in?
Ohio State. The Big Ten has the biggest money out there. They get the biggest viewing following. Ohio State will get in. It's
I don't know that. I mean, Ohio State or the Big Ten's been locked out before. It wouldn't be the first time. So
they rarely get knocked out, and they need the viewership. It just goes up way too much. And I think because Ohio State's getting they're getting a cupcake for the championship. Because Northwestern, they blow.
Yeah,
I mean, and the funny thing is Ohio State will probably barely squeak this game out.
I think it would be hilarious if Northwestern beats them. I would find that it'd be perfect. That's what the Big Ten's been like this year. That would be a perfect way to end the Big Ten. Northwestern wins it because I don't think Ohio State's a top 4 team this year. I think it would be just poetic justice for Northwestern to beat them.
The Big Ten needs to redo you got to redo that.
How about just go to one conference? You just have one conference, okay, and then you take the top 2.
Do it like you always did.
Top 2 to play the championship.
Yeah.
Because you probably would see, Ohio State. I have to look at it. Either Michigan or Penn State or somebody.
It'd probably still be Ohio State, Michigan. They'd probably replay the game.
Yeah, Michigan. I meant Michigan. Yeah, probably Michigan.
It'd be Michigan, Ohio State.
Yeah, because Michigan beat Penn State. So
I'd rather watch that than Ohio State Northwestern. I mean, come on. This should not be a championship game.
That's why, my argument about the Big Ten is true. It's down this year, and they're a prime example. Northwestern went 8-1 in the Big Ten, 0-3 out of conference, including a loss to Akron, and they're playing for the Big Ten championship.
But remember who they play in their division.
Right, but I mean, still, it's Wisconsin, Iowa. I mean,
Nebraska.
For this school to represent, Nebraska is a good program. They're going through a bad period, but they're a good program. For that school to be representing the Big Ten in a Big Ten championship, I think it just tells you all you need to know about the Big Ten.
Because their division's horrible.
I know, Rick, but it shows that the conference isn't that good if they can represent the West. I mean, that's 7 teams there, dude.
Right, I understand what you're saying, but
they're the best one.
The division doesn't play those teams.
They play each other.
They play mostly their own division.
You can't represent. You play 2 or 3 from the other division. Because you play 9 games. So it's 6, you play 3 from the other division.
You play 8.
You play 9 in the Big Ten conference games.
I was 8 because they had 3.
They went to 9. So you play the 6 other schools in your division, then the 3 other from the other division.
Well, who did Ohio State have this year?
They played Nebraska was 1. I know that.
They only play. It's an 11-week season. They play 8.
12. Michigan's 10-2.
All right. Yeah. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yep. I see where.
Okay. So this brings me to Central Florida. So in general, let's say the quarterback wasn't hurt. I think this would be a prime example of you put Central Florida in as a 4. They're 11-0, right? This is the year you would do that.
They do have to play. They still got a game coming up.
Yeah.
So if the backup quarterback shows up,
they play Memphis in the American Athletic Championship game.
Still deserve it if they win that game. Because it's one game, anybody has a shot. We've all seen the great movies. We all love Miracle.
And I'm fine with that. I just think
put them in.
I just think it kind of hurts when you've lost your starting quarterback.
It does, but if they go out and they beat Memphis, and best thing I heard was earlier, quote, Sammy Ray came out and said, because he was agreeing with me, he goes, look, it wasn't just the quarterback that won the games. There's wide receivers, there's running backs, there's linebackers. He goes,
but the
quarterback is the main guy.
We're living in a quarterback-driven football world.
Yeah, but in college, the backup might not be – the backup's the next plan.
He actually played pretty good.
Yeah, the backup's the next plan. This guy could be taking over next year. He could be I don't know who the backup is. He could be a freshman that they're grooming for next year. So, I mean, if he is, give the little guy a chance. This is why you did this.
I agree. See, this is where I think this is going. I think you're going to see the Power 5 conferences have their own – they might as well just – because they're not giving anybody else a chance – just have your own championship and let UCF go with all the other smaller schools and have their own championship because you're not giving them a chance anyway.
Right, and
it's not fair. It's big school bias. I think this is a prime example. I've talked about it before. Dylan, you probably remember this. UCF last year, they beat Auburn. They beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl. Auburn played for SEC championship and they only won to beat Alabama last year.
The only team beat Alabama in 2 years.
Okay, right. And UCF beat that team.
Yeah.
This year, and listen, I'm not this school beats this school guy, that's why they're better. That's not how it works. I know that. But instead of just disregarding the team, you have to look at a couple of things. And here is one example. They played Pitt this year. Pitt is playing for the ACC championship against Clemson. Yeah. Okay? Not a great program, but they're kind of like Northwestern. They're representing their division. They beat Pitt 45-14. Notre Dame, listen, Notre Dame played them, only beat them 19-14. So, listen, these guys could play.
That's actually a cool thing that you.
Yeah, they could play with the big schools. They're not getting a chance because of the bias. I think it's ridiculous. And it's unfortunate that the quarterback got hurt. I think there's even a more case if they have their starting quarterback in. He won't be there.
But see, I don't think the quarterback getting hurt should be a factor in it. You can't tell these kids they go 11-0 and it doesn't mean anything. You go undefeated and other teams are losing the game. And Memphis, you're in there.
Listen, Memphis is a good program. They've had a good year. That's going to probably be a pretty good game. And if they win that means they beat them twice. And they'll be 12-0, back-to-back undefeated seasons. Give these guys a shot. Because these other teams. It's not like Ohio State's run a table or Oklahoma's run a table. I can see if they did. These teams have warts.
Well, okay? Ohio State, let's look at the last 3 weeks before this game.
Yeah. Listen.
You think UCF could beat Ohio State 3 weeks ago? I think UCF can beat Ohio
State. I do. I definitely think they can.
I think 3 weeks ago they beat them when they're playing Maryland and everybody else and they look like garbage.
So it's just unfortunate. I think we're coming to a time where these Power 5 are going to break off. I don't know if it's going to be part of the NCAA or something else, but
it's going to be the NBA G League.
I mean, it's right now the way it's set up, it's unfair. Or let's go to 8 teams, so you give these guys a shot. And I think 8 would be perfect.
8's fine. I mean, we talked about that before because if you're only going to do 4, then they're only going to take from the big conferences, which screws the little guy.
And let's make it so you have to win your conference championship to get the automatic bids.
Yeah, well, and that would get rid of, because me and you both said this, you should never have 2 SEC teams or 2.
Not with 4. No, not with 4.
Should never have 2.
With 8 when you have a wild card, yeah. Okay, like if Alabama in this case, if they lose to Georgia, give them a wild card if you think they deserve it. That's fine.
Right.
But, now when you have just a 4, I don't know. I don't like seeing 2 schools from one conference.
No, it takes away from it because it's supposed to be a playoff. It's supposed to... It's supposed to be a national championship, not your division championship again.
I mean, we've seen it time and time again, like Alabama, and I'm not saying they don't deserve it. It's just the way it's set up, it's just not right. Like, they didn't even play for the SEC championship last year. They get in and win the national championship. Remember a couple years ago when Penn State won the Big Ten? They didn't get in. Ohio State got in.
Oh, yeah. Ohio State jumped, 3 teams?
Yeah, so it's very imperfect. It is big school bias, and I don't like it. I'm going to watch the games because I like watching, competition, but it's definitely not fair. That's for sure. I don't.
No, you got to change some stuff up there. And look, you give Central Florida a shot, and if they lose, then you finally have the argument. But the problem is, and this is the great thing about it, every time the NCAA gives one of these teams a shot, they do it.
I know.
And that's the great thing because Boise set the precedent
what does Central Florida have to do? Because these big schools aren't going to want to play them during the year because they could lose to them.
Well, yeah, that's their other problem, too. Is like Notre Dame's not calling, saying our cupcake game.
Alabama's not calling them. Ohio State's not calling them. Oklahoma, they're not calling them because they could lose that game.
Right, because they were out of conference games except for one big game. They used 2 of them as fluffers.
Let's look at the one chance they had last year, and they beat Auburn. So this program is there. They can play these guys. Let's quit ignoring them and acting like they're from the AAC. Well, this program they're at 24 in a row. They deserve a shot.
You know what? Prove it. Beat them.
I agree.
Beat them.
Nobody's beaten them in the last 2 years.
If I'm UCF...
And that's it. That's in a discussion. You got to beat them.
If you're UCF and they invite you to a bowl game, you'd have a hard time just going, you know what? We should be playing for the national title. Just sit back and go.
Here's what's going to happen
again. We'll challenge a national title winner to a bowl game.
They're going to get another New Year's Bowl against a good team and probably beat them again. They'll be 2 years in a row, right?
And
I'll be pulling for them.
And then the players are going to start graduating. That's going to be the problem.
Right. Okay, so Rick, let's take our last break. We'll come back and talk a little bit about basketball and our picks, and we'll be right back in a few minutes.
That's only the second break.
Hey, this is Brad from the Odd Ass Broadcast, letting everybody know. December 12th at the Rialto Theater, SKO Radio Networks and AB Entertainment is bringing you a Toy Drive comedy show with headliner Brian Kenny, featuring Jason Moliterno and special guest Joe McCormick. For more information about the show, follow us at the Odd Ass Broadcast on Facebook.
You're listening to SKO Radio, where there is no fake news. Fact is, we don't have any news at all.
Hey, I'm Chandler. Sunday mornings right here on the SKO Radio Network. You can tune in for some encouragement for you and your entire family. Hey, and speaking of you and your family, Merry Christmas. That's not only from me, but the entire staff here at the SKO Radio Network. So, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hey, this is Brad of the Odd Ass Broadcast, Wednesdays, 9 p.m. to 12 a.m. We are the degenerates of the SKO Radio Network. Tune in to see what shenanigans we are up to this week.
Hi, this is Dylan Thompson, and you're listening to our new SKO Radio Network. Stay tuned.
You know, Dylan, there's nothing better than sitting at the bar, having a cold beer, sitting there with a good friend, watching the big screen, watching the big game on the TV.
No, you're absolutely right. You know, talking about sports with your buddy, that's exactly what Rick and Brad do, too, on Sunday nights.
That's
at
right.
The Windsor Pub.
That's right. Sunday nights at the Windsor Pub, the Sports Brewing Company, starting at 9:30 p.m. live here on the SKO Radio Network.
They go till whenever. They talk about whatever. They even have a top 5. Make sure you tune in and crack your cold one.
Hello, this is Earl McCune, president of the SKO Radio Network and host of some kind of radio show here on Friday nights from 8 p.m. to midnight. I just wanted to take a second and wish everyone out there a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from my family to yours. Happy holidays.
Hey, I'm Elaine Johnston, and I am the host of the new show, The Comedic Renegades, here Thursdays from 9 to midnight, where we go deep inside the minds of local comedians covering the popular topics of the week on SKO Radio.
Are you a business owner? Are you looking to advertise? Are you looking for affordable advertising rates? Well, if you'd answered yes to these, then look no further than here at the SKO Radio Network. We here at the SKO Radio Network will put together a tailored advertising package for your business that will help generate more traffic and more revenue for you. If this sounds good to you and you'd like to hear more, give us a call at 234-706-5857. Again, that is 234-706-5857, and we'd be happy to assist you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Ost.
Hi, I'm Chris Ost.
And we're the hosts of Throwback Thursdays here on SKO Network. Catch us every Thursday for our show Throwback Thursdays from 6 to 9
p.m. on SKO Radio Network.
Hi, this is Dylan Thompson. I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from all of us here at SKO Radio Network. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Stephanie Raquel Kokora, and I run Under Lock and Key from 5 to 6 on Mondays. Come to see me. It's everything they don't want you to know, all in one place. I'm a truth seeker, have been for many, many years, and I do the research. All you gotta do is listen and make your own cantations out of that. And this is SKORadio.com.
I'm Tony. I'm Sean. Tune in Sundays from 6 to 8 p.m. here on SKO Radio Network. Firearms, Freedom, and Facts. Hosted by Sean and Tony. We're here to discuss all your questions regarding our freedom, politics, and government, Second Amendment, and legal issues affecting our world today. Tune in and listen Sunday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. here on the SKO Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Debbie McCune, host of Total Request Live, Mondays on SKO Radio Network. I wanted to wish all of our listeners a very merry and bright holiday season and a happy new year.
You are listening to the SKO Radio Network.
Hi, folks. Handy Randy. Some Kind of Radio. Every Tuesday night, 6 o'clock, we take your themes. First off, we need you to go to yesterday and today's classics, music, chat, trivia, and games, and join that Facebook site. Once you do that, then watch for the themes and the requests. Tuesday night, 6 until 10, classic rock and roll. Promise, will knock your socks off.
This is Jack Bob, wishing you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and watch out for my new Christmas album coming out this December.
In the beginning, Pat created ham radio heaven. But somehow it just wasn't enough. Listeners wanted more. So they went back to the drawing board, hoping to create that perfect show.
Something's going to happen. What? What's going to happen? Something wonderful.
Join Dale and I for Radioactive as we discuss technology and life in the world around us. That's Radioactive, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays here on SKO.
You're tearing me apart, Debbie!
Johnny, are you okay?
No, I'm not okay. Debbie didn't listen to some kind of radio show. Midnight, 8 p.m. on Friday.
Folks, Johnny's just upset because Debbie didn't tune in to some kind of radio show every Friday night from 8 p.m. to midnight Eastern here on the SKO Radio Network.
That's right. Anyways, how's your sex life?
We're back with the Sports Brewing Company here on SKO Radio Network. Call in or text right now, 234-200-5110. Now is affectionately known by the listeners as the Carp and the Minnow. Here's Brad and Rick.
Really, Dylan?
Yeah, I had to. I'm doing my best taco tonight. Right, I texted him and told him we were going to be down here.
He thought about it, but he helped me out today, and he worked during the day. And
gotcha.
plus, he's got, he does a lot with ring announcing and everything.
I saw one of the fights. Actually, one of my buddies was in a fight that he announced, so that was cool seeing two people that don't know that I know both of them in the same ring at the same time.
That's cool. They had a fight there the other night. This guy got straight knocked out. He hit the bar, and they thought he might have broke his neck. This guy, I mean, it was. But yeah, he used to do MMA. He does wrestling. So big shout out to Josh. He's getting to do what he loves.
Yeah.
I didn't know he loved wrestling that much, and then all of a sudden, I start hearing about these guys.
Once he starts talking about it, he doesn't shut up.
He loves it. He loves his wrestling.
I'm kind of the same way, but
he was saying, "Hey, dude, you should have seen him today. He looked like a kid in a candy store because he's a huge Browns fan too." So we were all having fun kicking it for a while.
So before we get into our next topic, I do want to remind Deb that she owes us some Fireball because the Browns did win today.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
She made us that bet last week.
She owes
we had
4 bottles of Fireball.
No, she's only going to bring one. But she's going to bring a big bottle, she said.
Yeah. It better be a big bottle.
we had a bet between the 5 of us.
She's going to find a jug of Fireball.
It better be a gallon.
You know what, Rick? Maybe she hit that Incinerator's here. If you want to try that.
No. I haven't been drinking. I've been doing a good job.
Okay, let's get into a little bit of college basketball. You been watching some, Rick?
I've been watching college basketball here and there. The Big Ten looks like it's going to be really strong. I was amazed Duke lost.
That's the big one since last week. Duke lost.
So, we've been treated to a great start to the college basketball season. A lot of great matchups. Like Duke went out to Maui. Again, you got to feel for them being out there, right?
Yeah, it's rough.
That was a really good field. They played Auburn. That was a great game. Auburn, they were down early, got right back in it, pushed Duke to the end. And then Duke ran into a very experienced Gonzaga team and lost. But made a good run. And
that's always been the thing we've talked about, especially come tournament time when we're filling out the brackets. I don't know so much if you do it, but I know we always talk about it. Mm-hmm. I always look for the teams that have played together longer. Like the one and dones can get beat by a team with 3 starting seniors and 2 juniors or freshmen and a sophomore.
Yeah, like sometimes you have to
team unity.
Yeah, like there's been programs like Middle Tennessee recently and some others, Butler a few years ago, where they played together a lot and. They're off the beaten path. They're kind of under the radar, but they're really dangerous. Like, they could beat these other programs.
Teams.
Yeah, they played really good together. They're well coached, and they can upset teams because they just play. They just know how to play basketball. They share the ball. They don't rely on one person. And so those teams can be really dangerous, like you said. Like those experienced teams with senior leadership.
It is, but it's weird
because a lot of these big programs they do rely on younger players.
They do, but did you ever think you'd see Duke go after 3 one-and-done guys in 1 year?
Well, Coach K, he has transitioned into – he's embraced that in the last probably 10 years.
Yeah, but it's normally like, okay, he had Kyrie who was one-and-done, but normally it's like maybe one guy's one-and-done, but he's got 3. He's got a Fab 5.
He's been getting more lately. Like he's been recruiting just as many of those elite 5-star blue blood players like Kentucky has been.
Oh, yeah.
The blue chipper. I don't mean blue blood. Blue chip players like Kentucky has been. So
yeah,
to me, he's been doing that for a while, and his recruiting class has been awesome, and he just reloads.
Well,
that's what he does.
I don't know if you looked at some of the videos of his boy Zion, but have you seen him throw a football?
No.
I guess he was offered a scholarship.
LSU.
Not just LSU. Right. He can throw a football a mile, dude. He
looks like he'd be a perfect football player.
His vertical leap is off the chart.
I know.
He had to jump up and hit it, and they showed Barrett just on his back laughing because he hits the top one with the middle of his hand. The guy's at a freak
backboard?
No, they do the vertical limit test.
Oh yeah.
Well, the top of that is the top of the backboard. He hit it with his palm. The guy is just a freak athlete. But with all the talk about him, there's still so much other good basketball and so many other good teams in the right now. So.
That's why, like when you asked me last week if they're going undefeated, I didn't think they would. And Gonzaga is one of those teams. They're very experienced. They were really good last year and had a lot of the kids come back.
Yeah.
And any given night, a really good team. Listen, it takes a really good effort to beat Duke. Even with Duke's not perfect. They're not real deep. Sometimes depth's a little bit overrated, but they are young, and you can get in a little earlier in the year. I think it'll be easier to get in a little earlier in the year. As these guys play together, they'll probably be really tough to beat by the end of the year. They can still get beat.
Oh yeah.
But
do you see what I was talking about? He throws this ball the length of a soccer field.
Yeah. So like the Maui, they were out in Maui, and Gonzaga got the better of them for the championship. But there's so many great preseason, early season tournaments in college basketball, and that's what I love about it. They create these great matchups. Like, Kansas was in the preseason NIT. They just played Tennessee for the championship. 2 top 5 teams. That was a great game. Kansas has a really good team this year.
Don't we have the ACC Big Ten coming up challenge too?
Yeah. I'm gonna get to that. They play next week. They start tomorrow night.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was gonna say I knew that was coming up real quick.
Yeah, and that's another great made for TV event. ESPN's a big part of that.
That's a huge test for Big Ten.
Yeah, we'll talk about that matchup here in a second. Like the Battle for Atlantis or the Battle for Atlantis was Virginia, Wisconsin in the championship. Great game. Virginia came out on top there. The Las Vegas Invitational was awesome. You had Michigan State out there, North Carolina, Texas. They all played each other. Michigan State won that championship. They beat Texas. Texas beat North Carolina.
That's a good win for Michigan State.
Yeah, actually, I watched that championship game. Texas jumped on Michigan State early. They were up by like 20 in the first half. And Michigan State came back and blew the doors off them. They just dominated the rest of that game. Very impressive come from behind win. I also want to give a shout out to Villanova. They got off to a little bit of a rocky start. Michigan beat them real bad, then they lost to Furman. They just won a early season tournament, and they beat Florida State in doing it. Florida State's really good out of the ACC. So I didn't watch that game. What I've seen from Villanova, I wasn't that impressed with this year, but for them to a week later come back and win that tournament, the Advil Care Invitational, and beat Florida State, I think says a lot about that program and Jay Wright. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, they deserve to be recognized for kind of righting the ship. But you're right, Rick. So, starting tomorrow is one of my favorite weeks in college basketball. It's the ACC Big Ten Challenge. I watch every night. It's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. There's 14 games pitting the conference against each other, and it's good, friendly competition. I obviously root for the Big Ten. ACC has gotten the better of the challenge. This is the 19th year, and ACC's won 12 of them. Big Ten's won 5, and there's been 2 ties.
Well, the ACC is more known for basketball than the Big Ten. I'm not taking anything away from the Big Ten, but the ACC is always historically better.
They've been better lately for sure. Probably in the long run they have been a little bit better. The reason it's so lopsided is the ACC won the first 10 years in a row. And then the Big Ten kind of righted the ship. Of the next 7, or something like that, they went 5-0-2, I think, in the next 7. So they have they haven't evened it up yet, but they've been more competitive.
So who do we start off with this week?
So tomorrow we have Nebraska at Clemson and Minnesota at Boston College. I was looking at some of these matchups. Like Tuesday, the highlight game is IU's at Duke. And we have Michigan State at Louisville. Michigan State, that's Tuesday night as well. Michigan State should beat Louisville there, even though it's in Louisville's gym. IU's going to have a tough time at Duke.
Oh, yeah.
That's Duke might not lose a game in Cameron Indoor all year. And, that's one of those games where IU can just learn a lot, playing, one of the best teams in the country. And, you learn a little more about your team and probably what you need to do to be able to compete against a team like that.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot for them to compete. They're not near as athletic.
No, they're pretty athletic. IU's good. I mean, just Duke has, they just have a couple of these blue chippers. It's just going to be very interesting to watch.
They had the number 1 and 2 pick in the NBA draft.
Yeah, arguably. Yeah. So it's going to be a very tough matchup. It's a tough matchup for any school. So I'm interested to watch it. I just hope it doesn't. Sometimes those games can get away from you and it can, get ugly.
Well, I'll say more about Indiana if they can hang tight in that game. If they get blown out, it's going to be. You don't learn as much if you get blown out.
And Indiana, they've been dealing with some injuries, so they're a little bit shorthanded. Hopefully, quite a few injuries actually, like 5. So hopefully they're not too shorthanded and they're a little bit closer to full strength, so they could be hopefully competitive in that game. Wednesday's got some great matchups. So we got Syracuse at Ohio State, Purdue at Florida State, great game. And North Carolina visits Michigan.
There's a game for you.
That's a real good game.
That'd be a good test for Michigan.
Yeah, it will be. It'd be a good test for both schools.
Michigan started off better than I thought they would. Honestly,
I agree.
They're not setting the world on fire, but
no, they've been playing great. Yeah, they've been playing a lot better than I thought they would be.
Oh, I didn't think they'd be this tough out there.
I actually expect Michigan to beat them. I don't think this is a vintage Carolina team. So I think defensively, I think Michigan can cause some problems, and I think they'll be able to score. I do. I think they're versatile enough.
Well, that's at Michigan. That's a big help.
That definitely helps. But listen, I've been looking at this, like Nebraska at Clemson. That's a great game. Nebraska they got everybody back. They're expected to be a top half Big Ten team this year.
And after this Saturday, the Michigan fans are going to be going nuts at home. Like, hey, we need a win.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, it doesn't sound – that will play into it.
That's one thing about college basketball. The atmospheres in these gyms are off the hook. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've only got to see, Akron U. I've heard, a couple of my friends been to Duke games at Cameron, and they say it's
I've never been to Cameron, but, I've been to Assembly Hall in Indiana. It's awesome.
They say, the hair on your arm
it's awesome.
just
it is,
especially it's nuts.
Especially when, that's my program. It's awesome. Yeah. It's a great experience. North Carolina State's at Wisconsin. Here's an underrated game. Pitt plays Iowa. Both those teams are 6-0.
Yeah.
That's a great game on Tuesday night. Let's see. Virginia's at Maryland. So these are great matchups. So if you like basketball, this is great to watch. And Rick, who do you think? So we got 14 games. What's your pick for this challenge? Do you have any insight on this?
You want to go game by game?
We could probably do that quickly if you want.
You want to go game by game? That'll be easier. I think Duke is going to.
Well, let's just start Monday. So we got Nebraska at Clemson.
I'll take Clemson.
It's in Clemson. And all these are in the home gyms, too.
Yeah.
So there's no, sometimes they used to play neutral court.
That's what.
Every once in a while they did, but I think these are all home gyms now. I'm going to go Nebraska there.
Okay.
And then we got Minnesota at Boston College Monday night.
I got BC.
I have not seen BC play yet this year. So I don't know exactly what BC has. I'm going to go BC as well. That game, I think, could be really close. Okay, then Tuesday we got Virginia Tech at Penn State. I think it's a game Penn State. They don't need it. It's early in the year, but.
Virginia Tech at Penn State. It's at home. I'll give Penn State the nod just because they're at home.
Penn State. Yeah, they've gotten off to a little slower start. I'm going to go with La Tech in that one. I mean, we're rooting for Penn State. Right. But okay, and then we have Illinois at Notre Dame.
I'll go Notre Dame.
I'm going to go Notre Dame as well there. Illinois, they might be the worst. Them and Rutgers are probably the worst teams in the Big Ten this year. Michigan State, Louisville.
Oh, Michigan State.
Yep, I like Michigan State there as well. Pitt, Iowa.
Oh, that's going to be a good one.
It is.
Where's it at?
Iowa.
It's at Iowa.
Yeah, so the last school I say is going to be a home team. So it's Pitt, Iowa.
You know what? Give me Pitt.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. That'd be a good road win for them. NC State, Wisconsin.
Man, I don't know a lot about your team. I'll go NC State.
I got Wisconsin there. They might win that actually pretty big. IU Duke. You got Duke. I'm taking it. I got Duke as well. Then Wednesday, so the last 6 games, we got Syracuse at Ohio State.
I'll take Syracuse.
Syracuse is always a interesting matchup with the way they play zone.
Yep.
I'm going to take Ohio State in that game, actually.
Syracuse is always long.
Oh, yeah.
He can always just defend. They always get there.
He does recruit certain types of players.
I mean, they're all like 6'7" with a wingspan of 8 feet.
Okay, and then we have Rutgers at Miami.
I go Miami.
Man, you're on an ACC roll here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row. Virginia at Maryland.
Give me Maryland.
I'm taking Miami too, and I'm taking Virginia in that game. Purdue at Florida State. Both pretty good. That's a good matchup.
I like Purdue. I'm on it.
Okay, Purdue. I'm taking Florida State there. I think they're going to be too big for Purdue. Georgia Tech, Northwestern.
Yeah, I got to go with Tech.
Taking the Rambling Rock. Okay, Georgia Tech. I got Northwestern there. And then last game.
I'm taking Blue.
Carolina and Michigan. Okay. I got Michigan there as well. So, Rick, you have, let's see here, 1, 2. Oh, geez, you're definitely ACC. 1, 2.
Oh, yeah.
3, 4, 5. So you're going to say he's going to go 9-5 ACC. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm saying it's going to be a 7-7 tie, which makes perfect sense to me. It does.
It's right down the middle of the road.
Yeah, it's so okay. That's a little fun there. We'll see how we do there. Want to get into our football picks?
Well, we got a little bit of the NBA. I mean, we are almost a quarter way through the season.
We are.
I mean, this is.
The Cavs have won 3 times.
Cavs won twice in a row.
They've got 4 wins.
Oh, they got 4 wins now. Sorry.
They won 2 in a row. They beat Philly and then they beat Houston. I thought that was a misprint when I saw that on my phone last night because I didn't have time to look.
I had that game. I was watching a few different games and I just switched back and forth. And
I was like,
I thought
Houston
would eventually pull that game out, but obviously they didn't.
I mean, Houston should pull that game out. Let's be honest. The Cavs are not good.
No, they're not good. No, it's it's nice that they're competing, and
we're 25% of the way through the year already.
Yeah, we're at the quarter mark.
Yeah, I mean, the East. The weird story in the East is Boston.
Yeah,
like what's going on with Boston?
Stuck in neutral right now.
Like they're talking. Hayward's coming out saying he'll come off the bench. Kyrie's saying we need a veteran. Kyrie is a veteran. I don't get that at all.
No, we talked about that last week. I think he needs to. I didn't hear him say that.
Is there a problem on that team? Because this team should not be in the 7th seed at 10-10.
I think they're going to figure it out. I do. I think they're too good.
I think the coach is too good for this.
I think they'll figure it out.
Something's wrong.
I think they'll figure it out. I do. It takes. This team's more than capable of ripping off 9 or 10 straight.
Oh, they are.
They'll be right back.
No doubt in my mind about that, but I'm just.
But it's been a slow start. It has.
It's been a horrible start for them. I mean,
and by their standards.
Oh
sure. Yeah. I mean, really, the only team that's really taken off is Toronto.
Milwaukee's right there. Milwaukee.
Yeah, but and I'm not knocking Milwaukee. They're off to a great start too, but. Even Golden State, I think they're only 14-7, only, comparative to what they usually do,
Well, I mean, the thing with...
and they're the top seed again in the West.
The thing in Milwaukee that's scary is Giannis is starting to hit threes. Do you know who the Cavs drafted instead of Giannis?
I don't think I'm going to be able to remember
Now,
that.
mind you, this draft was not great, but the Cavs had the number 1 pick.
Was that Bennett?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was a disaster.
But no, I mean, that whole draft wasn't good. We went through that draft, and the players in that draft, most of them they're not in the league or they're very limited role plays. The East isn't what's so interesting. I mean, me and you both probably agree on that because we have an idea of who we think is going to be in the playoffs. You know, who's coming out of that division anyways. I mean, we both go Toronto and Boston being the two teams to beat, which is weird. That's why Boston's sitting in a 7 seed just amazes me. Philadelphia, I'm not sure what's going on with Philly because all of a sudden Markel Fultz is looking at getting shoulder surgery.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to miss him. I don't. They play so much without him. I don't know what's going on with him. He missed almost all of last year too. So.
Yeah, he's not turning into that player.
He's been injured for sure. You know, he had a wrist injury or something.
They had two other point guards like that though. Michael Carter-Williams. Remember they used him for a year, got rid of him. Ish Smith, who actually isn't a bad guy, he plays for Detroit.
He's a role player. Yeah,
but he played good for him. But I mean, it's the West. Have you looked at the West?
Yeah.
Well, the West is nuts.
Well, dude,
everybody
it's within 5 games.
Besides Phoenix, everybody has a shot.
That's how quickly it changed. And Utah's good.
Yeah, I mean, LA's sitting 7, and behind them is New Orleans, Houston, Sacramento, Dallas, San Antonio, Minnesota, and Utah.
Yep.
All those teams can make the playoffs.
Yes.
I mean, because in front of them is, you got where are the Clippers coming from? Where is this coming from with the Clippers?
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by them this year.
I mean, is this?
I don't think they're going to keep this up. I don't.
No, I mean, it's been a busy football week too. There's been football on every night, so keeping track of the NBA this week wasn't the easiest. They did give LeBron his homecoming game. Yeah. By the way, worst commercial ever. Sit there and just show off everything he did for Cleveland, and then say he's back to play against like it's a tribute to Cleveland. Horrible commercial, horrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I look at the Clippers. I don't think they're about to keep this pace up. I don't. They got a good group of players. I just don't think they're capable of competing in the long run with the elite talent in the league. They're getting some good contributions from Montrezl Harrell. And that young player, Gilgeous-Alexander, he was out of Kentucky, I believe. Boban Marjanovic, he's a role player. Avery Bradley. They got some good players. Their best player is Tobias Harris.
Yeah.
And he's a good player. I'm not knocking him. I just don't. And listen, I like basketball where, the sum of the parts is, better than the individual parts. I like that. That's how it should be. You play better as a unit. You can bring out the best of everybody. But you also need some elite talent on the team. You need that guy to take the last shot. When you're going through a period where you're not making shots, you need the guy to hit a shot, get to the line, stuff like that. Like Lou Williams, he's their second best scorer on the team. I mean, they're pretty balanced. But I don't think you're going to be able to keep this pace up, winning 67% of their games.
I agree with you. I mean, I still think Golden State's the team to beat. I think Golden State's got some problems, but they got to figure it out. The team that amazes me out there is Houston. They're just not Houston has to look for a trade. They have to find a piece. They're missing.
Well, it's funny,
they had the guys.
The two teams
let them go.
Yeah, the two teams that lost in the conference finals are both at 500. Houston and Boston.
Who's Carmelo signed with? Who's Carmelo going to sign with? He's going to get picked up. Is he the Hall of Famer?
He's probably a Hall of Famer, Rick.
Is he a Hall of Famer in your book?
Yeah, we had a discussion last week. Based on the standards of today, I probably would vote him in. He is a top 20 offensive player. Points.
Yeah, he's also one of the worst defenders.
Dude, he's a very incomplete player.
I'm surprised he's not on the Lakers right now. I mean, LeBron's a great GM. But, I mean, I'm not even wanting to go into that, but
right.
They should be up there. San Antonio's playing better than I thought they would. I figured it'd take them a while. Denver's a really good team. If Memphis can stay healthy, because Conley never stays healthy. He highest paid player for like a minute. But Portland's there. I mean, the West is going to be a dog.
Utah just won. They just finished the game.
Who'd they play?
I don't know, but I just saw their standings change right as we're talking. So now they're only 4.5 out. Let me see who they beat, because I didn't realize they were still playing.
Orlando. Ooh.
Yeah, Orlando beat the Lakers today. Let's see here. Hold on a minute. Utah. They just beat Sacramento.
Your boy Vucevic had a heck of a game.
Yeah, well, he's a good player. Orlando's been a little surprising. So has Dallas. Dallas has been a little surprising to me.
New York won the game, finally.
New York beat Boston earlier this week.
Something's up with Boston. I don't get it. I mean, we still have a lot of basketball to go.
Yeah, there's 60 games.
It's like the real season starts when the Super Bowl's over, and you gotta get down to the grind. But the West, they're gonna have to look at the older players in this league. Have to start looking at what they're gonna do, because some of these guys are playing extreme minutes. I mean, like they sat Chris Paul against the Cavs, right? Houston did.
Mm-hmm. He didn't play, so
Houston should win that game without Chris Paul.
Yeah.
The Cavs are not a good team,
right?
But I mean, you're taking like this is a game I can take off, and no, you can't. So, especially in the West, there is no night off. You're playing every night.
I agree.
It's brutal.
It's a dogfight. And listen, the East is good. It's not as deep as the West, but the top half of the East is really good. But
500 ain't getting you into the playoffs.
No, I don't think in either conference. But like 1 through 12 or 1 through 13 or 14 in the West, it's a dogfight, man. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Yep. Right.
Okay, let's get into our football picks here. Rick, you went. Is this game over?
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah,
Green Bay lost.
Okay.
Wow.
Green Bay lost.
What a waste of a great quarterback.
Yeah.
So Minnesota did win that game.
24-17.
Look, Brown fans, we do not want McCarthy.
No.
Okay, so with Rick, you had Green Bay in that game. So you went 9-5 this week. That puts you at 82-46 total. I had Minnesota. I crushed it this week. I went 13-1. That puts me at 92-36. So that's a 10-game lead on you.
Oh well, the season's not over yet. I'll stop picking with my heart and just go.
Start picking.
You
with
better,
what
because you're getting destroyed right now.
10 games is only 10 games. Change it in a week.
10 games? I don't know. I just went 13-1.
Hey, if you have a real bad week,
I don't have bad weeks.
Oh.
And Monday.
I believe I'm still up monetarily wise, by the way.
Monday night is Tennessee at Houston. Rick has Houston. It's going to be a good game, I think.
Yeah.
And it's better than most Monday night games.
They have been bad this year.
Except last week.
Yeah.
You have Houston and I have Tennessee, so you can make one up, but probably not.
See, 9.
I'll probably be up 11.
Okay. We do have a full slate next week, too.
Yeah.
Bye weeks are over, right?
Are they over now?
I believe bye weeks are done.
Might be right. I know it's coming up, so.
It should be. Screwing with my fantasy team way too much.
Are you in the playoffs?
Oh, I'm definitely in the playoffs.
Are you?
See, I did something like I drafted James Connors from Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm.
I drafted Chubb from Cleveland. I got Baker from Cleveland. I got Woods from the Rams. I got these guys all late in the draft, too. I stole these guys.
Yeah.
Everybody goes, Connors. I go, well, Le'Veon ain't playing.
Right.
Le'Veon.
We didn't know about
And it worked out perfect because now you have him for the stretch runs.
Yeah, and I got him for a couple years, too.
Yeah.
Okay, Thursday night.
Saints Cowboys.
We got New Orleans at Dallas.
There's someone we forgot to talk about earlier. Thursday night's game. Drew Brees is on the historic year.
He's got
the guy is complete
29 touchdowns now. That's complete. It's close to 80%.
It's a 77%. And if you watch that game, here's the thing. I would like to know of his incompletes, how many of them were just drops?
Mm-hmm.
Because I bet you it'd be higher, more like 90% completion rate.
Yeah.
His completion rate to Michael Thomas right now is 90%. That is unheard of. The guy is amazing, and he's 39 years old, and he's just...
Yeah, he might be the front runner for MVP.
He should be the front. He's thrown 2 interceptions, 29 touchdowns.
Yeah, he's going to be over 40 touchdowns, probably mid-40s.
And the reason he doesn't have more touchdowns is they actually run the ball on the goal line. So, I mean, they got a great running back in Carmera and Mark Ingram. I mean, they have 2 stud running backs, and this guy's just doing whatever. I'm taking New Orleans, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to take New Orleans, too. On the road. They've been able to win on the road, and they're, like you said, Breeze is playing at such a high level. I think they're just a lot better than Dallas, and I think they're going to be able to win that game.
This would be Breeze's first MVP, too. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
Because he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. He's known as a class act of the league. I mean, this guy, you'd think he'd have one. I mean, this Super Bowl year.
Right.
I mean, come on. Okay,
so Sunday... So these games, a lot of these are going to be really. I mean, we're starting to get to nitty gritty here. We're down to 5 weeks.
A lot of 5 and 6, 4 and 7 teams playing each other.
So we have
the whole NFL right now.
We have Baltimore at Atlanta. A game Baltimore needs. Atlanta. I mean, I think Atlanta's out of it. They're 4 and 7.
I think Atlanta's going to win this game, though. Baltimore is. I think they're kind of overachieving for what they got going on right now. And Atlanta, sooner or later, Atlanta lost to New Orleans. New Orleans is a far superior team, but I'll take Atlanta.
I can take Atlanta there, too.
See, this is how you stay so close. You just let me go first, and you piggyback my pick. Right?
Yeah, right.
All the differences come when I pick second. I got to take the underdog.
You mean the ones I pick right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then we have Denver at Cincinnati, a game they both need. I'm going to take Denver in that game. I do.
Andy Dalton's out.
Hugh Jackson is now in Cincinnati, and he's like Pigpen, dude. He's got the cloud around him.
He's a disease.
He is.
He's a disease.
He is. That's a great way to put it. He's going to destroy the organization. Not that it needs a lot of help, but
he's a disease. I mean, come on, get rid of the guy. Fire him now. Hugh Jackson's going to be a first coach to get fired twice in 1 year.
He's going to get someone else fired. I'm calling it right now, dude. Don't be shocked if someone gets fired and he takes your position. Because he's a schemer. That's what he's best at.
Yeah.
I'm taking Denver in that game also. Cincinnati has talent. But it should be A.J. Green's first game back. It better be A.J. Green's first game back, by the way.
You might be looking no Andy Dalton, though.
Right.
Yeah, but that Drexel kid didn't look
He didn't look bad, but there were a lot of miscues.
Yeah.
A lot of miscues.
And listen,
which is
Cleveland took their foot off the gas at that point.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have St. Louis at Detroit.
Oh, I'm taking the Rams.
Not St. Louis, L.A. I don't know why I said St. Louis. Yeah. I mean, I think I got to take the Rams there. Detroit's kind of a mess.
Dude, that pass had to be the worst pass I ever seen in my life to end a game on your Thanksgiving Day game. Literally, Stafford threw it directly to the Chicago defender.
He overthrew his guy, and he went up and he was behind the guy. He caught it. He made a good play on it, but he overthrew the guy. Yeah.
The Chicago Bear guy just turned around and caught the ball. He made a play. It landed right in the bread basket.
Hey.
Wow.
Hey, if you're in position, sometimes it happens. The worst pass, I think, was when Roethlisberger threw today and the game at Denver.
I didn't see that pass.
That was bad.
He
threw it into double coverage. He had no shot of the pass getting there.
He's been shaky the past couple weeks. Last week
he's been shaky all year.
Horrible.
Dude, he's on pace for 16 interceptions this year. That's a lot. For a quarterback of his stature, that's a lot. I think that's Pittsburgh's problem. One of their problems.
They need to get back to running the ball.
Yeah, we had the whole discussion about it today. That's part of it. Then we have Arizona at Green Bay.
I'm going to take Green Bay. Who's the quarterback for Arizona right now?
Rosen.
I thought Rosen. Is he back?
Yeah, he's playing. He's been back. Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is too good to lose to Arizona.
I think so too.
See, agrees again. I went first.
Oh my God. Jesus. We have Buffalo at Miami. I called the Buffalo game this week. Called that one right.
I actually thought that today. I actually made money on Buffalo.
So Buffalo's in Miami. Give me Miami in that one. Miami would get back to 6-6. He's, still in the hunt. I mean, it's an outside shot, but
neither team's setting the world on fire. Buffalo has overachieved, though. I mean, the way they start out, we were talking Buffalo could be the Browns.
Yeah, Allen's back too. He quarterbacked today for Buffalo.
Yeah, but that kid just scares me, though. You're in the NFL. They do everything they can to protect you, and he just seems like he goes out and plays with reckless abandonment. Won't slide, hurdle players. I'm taking Miami, by the way.
You take Miami? So that's the second time he's picked the same team I did. Just so you know.
All right, we're keeping track of that now.
All right. No, but only because he's getting destroyed.
Sure.
So he's got to create this this false narrative.
Excuse.
Yeah, the excuse, the false narrative. Here he comes. Then we have Chicago at the Giants.
Oh, you got to go with Chicago. New York's a mess. I mean, they've gotten better lately, but you got to go with Chicago.
Yeah.
Their defense is too good.
The Giants' offensive line isn't that good, so they should be able to put pressure on Manning, right?
Yeah, well, definitely.
You taking Chicago?
Yep.
I'm a little worried about this game, though. I'm a little worried about it.
I'd just be worried about Saquon Barkley. That's it. I mean, I wouldn't be too worried about Manning.
Dude, how bad is New York right now? They're talking about Odell's on the trading block.
It's the NFL, though. Like we talked about earlier. It's
any given week.
Do the Browns trade for Odell?
I don't think
Please
so.
no.
I don't think so.
Please no.
I don't want him, but he's an elite talent.
Yeah, but you can draft another really good wide receiver, and you don't have to pay him all that money, and give up 2 first rounds.
And
Screw that,
the
dude.
excuse of talent over baggage.
Give me Chicago there. I'll take Chicago.
Look at how that worked.
Then we have Carolina at Tampa Bay. A game Carolina desperately needs. By the way,
what's going on in Tampa Bay?
By the way,
we just skipped over Tampa Bay today. You can see what they did.
They won, and Winston played pretty good today. So I think they should just stay with Winston because if he's gonna be the future, he's gonna be the future instead of Fitzpatrick.
He's the future. He'll be starring in Longest Yard Part 2 when he gets arrested.
But you might as well find out what you got.
I agree.
So you might as well play him. It's not like they're competing for a playoff spot. Just play him, see what you got, and then you can make your decision.
I'll take Carolina. Cam's going to win it by himself.
I'm thinking Carolina's lost 3 in a row. This is a game they have to win, so I'll go with Carolina. Indianapolis at Jacksonville. Indianapolis has won 5 in a row now.
Jacksonville's falling apart.
Yeah, they just lost to Buffalo, and it wasn't even competitive in the second half.
They're good at talking. They're really good at talking a lot of crap, but this year the defense kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
I'll go with the Colts.
I'm going to go with Indy as well.
Andrew Luck seems to have fallen into the right place, and he just
he's having a great year.
He is. And
have you picked a single team different than him yet, or vice versa?
No,
you're going to help him create this narrative?
No. I'm just generally.
We haven't picked that many different, actually.
Yeah,
let's see here.
I was going to say maybe 1 or 2.
These are all the same picks so far.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We had one of those weeks like that.
Yeah.
Here's one different. Cleveland at Houston. I'm taking Houston. I don't know what Rick's going to do. You said you're not going to bet with your heart, so.
No, and I did. But here's my rationale to it. They won 2 games. They're learning how to win. They've gotten better each week. They could have kept the gas. They could have kept their foot on the gas this week, and they would have won bigger. I think they will give Houston a hell of a run. I think they're going to beat Houston at Houston.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't think so. I think it'll be close.
I think it's going to be real close, but I think they're going to pull this one out.
Okay, then we have New York Jets at Tennessee. Tennessee plays tomorrow night. I'm taking Tennessee there.
I can't stand the Jets.
I'm
taking Tennessee.
That shouldn't impact your pick at all.
No, it doesn't. I don't think the Jets are that good. I don't think Donald's that good.
He's a rook. We'll see. It's a tough year for him. He's been injured a little bit, too. Then we have KC at the Raiders.
I'll go Kansas City.
Should be an easy one. Minnesota's got a tough game. Minnesota plays New England.
New England's been hit or miss this year. Like Tom Brady's starting to show his age a little bit. I'm still gonna go with Tom Brady. I gotta take New England out.
You can't not go with Tom Brady. Sorry, any given week.
He's still the GOAT.
For now.
I called it when they lost to Tennessee. Remember?
Oh, you're calling it again. They're losing in Minnesota, huh? That's 2 games I'm making up.
You need a lot more of that.
Don't worry. After you pick these 2 wrong, I'll be only 7 games behind after tomorrow night.
Minnesota beat Aaron Rodgers this week, though. I mean,
give me Minnesota, the road upset. I think they're due for one of those. Then we have San Francisco at Seattle.
I'll take Seattle.
I'll tell you what, Seattle, if they win that, they're only 7-5.
Yeah, they've turned it around a lot since the beginning of the year.
Pretty good shape for the playoffs. Get there. Great game next Sunday night. We have the LA Chargers at Pittsburgh. I'm going to take Pitt in that one. I can see the Chargers winning that, though. But I'm going to take Pitt at home.
I would like the Chargers if I knew the weather better. Like, if you told me it was going to be 60 degrees, I'd feel a lot more comfortable about taking Phillip Rivers and the Chargers. But if you're telling me it's going to be 30 degrees, it's going to be cold, you can't go against. San Diego doesn't play well in the cold. Never has. I'll take Pittsburgh. That's the Browns' only win in 2 years is because they played them on a December.
Yeah. And then Monday night, this could have been a real good one. It's kind of a dud now. We have Washington at Philadelphia.
Give me Philadelphia without Alex Smith there. Look, I've seen Colt McCoy play. I'll take Philadelphia.
We've seen it.
How are there so many Browns backups quarterbacks in the NFL right now? Derek Anderson's in Buffalo.
Right. Josh McCown's still floating out there somewhere.
Yeah, but he's a class act guy.
He's not a bad quarterback, though.
I mean, either. I can see him, but like Colt McCoy, Derek Anderson, there's RG3. He's third string now in Baltimore. I think that guy should be getting a chance somewhere, but he just don't have the legs. There's got to be 8 or 9 Browns quarterbacks out in the NFL.
There's a few.
We've been through almost 30 of them, and
it's amazing.
And what's his name got signed a couple weeks ago? Derek Anderson.
Yeah, right? He played for Buffalo, and then he got a concussion.
Yeah, played 1 game.
I mean, the guys, it's amazing. I mean, we cut these guys, and they think they're still good.
Yeah.
I mean, did they watch them play?
Anderson had a good year.
Yeah,
1 year.
One good year, 10-6. Didn't make the playoffs.
No.
Oh, that was so bad too. You win 10 games, you should be in.
Yeah, 10-6 didn't make the playoffs.
That was the year Indianapolis screwed us, I think, that
Bad
year.
timing. Yeah, the 1 year you guys made, I think you were 9-7. I think you made the playoffs.
Yeah, Kelly Holcomb.
Yeah, that was coaching.
It was a wild card.
Yeah, we were playing Pittsburgh in the first half. We're destroying Pittsburgh because they're passing the ball all over the field. Next thing you know, they start running the ball in the second half. Yeah, that made no sense. So, Brett, what you got for? Just come up with a movie. One of your favorite action movies of all time.
If you need to think, we got a couple texted in.
Did they?
Yeah, we got a couple texted in.
Go ahead and read them real quick.
All right, so we got top 5 action movies. Number 5, Rollerball 2002 version.
That's a pretty cool movie.
Yeah. Number 4, Steel.
Steel?
Yeah. Never heard of it. I never saw it.
Number 3, Battlefield Earth. 2 was Alone in the Dark. And 1 was House of the Dead. It says, great show, needs to be more prepared on the top 5 list, sign Chest Rockwell.
Sorry about that, Chest. That could be...
And we've got a short one, all 5 diehards.
My BS,
all 5 diehards.
My BS meter is going off on that one.
And then we have another one that's real short, all the Bourne movies. Great topics, not enough Bears talk to balance the Carps Brown talk.
Big Day wants to hear you talk about the Bears.
What was that name, Chest what?
Let's see here. We had a Chest Rockwell, and
who the hell is that? That's probably from Battlefield Earth or something.
And we have a Reed Rothschild.
See, See, no Rambos, no Rockies.
Right.
Creed 2 came out. Creed 2, I guess, was good. I haven't seen it yet.
I've got to see it yet.
Oh,
Creed was good.
See that.
Creed was great.
Yeah.
It's something to do with Boogie Nights.
Oh, is it? That's got to be Big Daddy.
Yeah. Earl says, Earl's listening. He says, Steel is the shitty movie of the Shack.
Yeah, because I know Battlefield Earth was terrible. So my DS meter was going off.
Yeah.
You know, a movie I really like, and I like a lot of action movies, but the first Raiders of the Lost Ark is awesome.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That's a great movie.
Oh, the first Raiders of the Lost Ark.
I still remember. This is funny. I remember the first time I saw it, and it came out in theaters. I was probably. When did that come out? It was around 80, right?
Oh, it's got to be like right around 84.
I don't think it was that late. It was before that.
I think it was like 79 or 80.
It was around 1980.
It was around the time Empire came out.
Yeah,
I think it might have been
Empire
in between.
Empire was
in 80.
Yep.
I think it might have been right before.
Which Indiana Jones are we
81, 1981. So it came out in 81.
Yeah.
So I was like 12 years old.
81?
Yep, it came out in 81.
It's a great movie.
Great.
Yeah.
And I remember it was in the summertime, and my parents were friends with another family down the street, and they took us. So we both went. Like the moms and a bunch of kids. I think I even brought a friend with me, and I knew nothing about the movie. It was a different period, like, we didn't see it advertised. So I'm like, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
TV wasn't that prevalent. Color had just been invented. It's one of the things.
Life was in black and white before 1972.
You guys are ridiculous. So I remember going to the movie, and you know what it's like when you're a kid going to the movie theater. It's air conditioned. It's like a whole different experience, right? Yeah. And us kids, we go way down to the front row, right on top of the screen.
You're like, it's the best seat.
It is when you're 12 years old.
Yeah. When you're a kid.
That's how we watch all the Star Wars movies, like way down in front too.
Then when you're 16, you're sitting in the very back, so you can make out with your girlfriend.
So
then you get all the
now they got them arms that come up, so there's not that separating.
Yeah. They have like the little love seats. Yeah. So knew nothing about the movie, and once it started, I was mesmerized like for the 2 hours. It was that's nonstop entertainment. It was great.
I think
it drew me in, and I loved it. I was
the greatest opening action scene.
That is.
Oh yeah, that opening scene. Yeah. How many times has that been mimicked in movies?
Right. I mean,
thousands of times.
When the Simpsons mimic you, you're doing something. Right,
but that's a good one. My favorite memory in a movie theater, as far as action movies go, Rocky IV. That's the last movie I remember going and seeing with my mom and dad and my sister.
That's with Ivan Drago?
Yeah, and it was like being at a live boxing match. Like, you were sitting there, and next thing you know, people were standing up, hit him, knock him out. I mean, you're sitting there, and you got pumped up watching a Rocky movie. Like, Rocky was done, next thing you know, you're out, I need a heavy bag, I got to hit something,
What's your favorite Rocky movie?
Rocky 1 is iconic.
The first Rocky, that's the best. It's awesome. It's a great story.
But I mean, Balboa. I thought the new Balboa. I thought that was very well written.
I didn't see that one. I saw Creed.
I haven't seen the last few.
Creed was good.
Creed was really good. Balboa was really good.
Creed was on TV before I left. Like, I was watching the end of something, and it came on. Like, the opening scene is when I'm assuming it was Creed's kid. He's in like a detention center. Yeah. And he's in a fight, and I guess he gets in fights all the time. And, so I saw the opening scene, and that was it.
If you haven't seen it, take time to see it.
Okay. Yeah, it's got a little lull in the middle. Most Rocky movies have that little 10 to 15 minute lull that you're sitting there going, let's get by this and back to the fighting. But that's one of my favorites. I want to go see the new Creed 2. They're doing a great job as far as Marvel and DC go with making.
Those are all great. I mean,
DC's
Marvel, more Marvel.
After
There's
Batman, you got the Batman Dark Knight series, but
the 3 Dark Knights were good.
Yeah, but other than that, they've destroyed Batman.
Yeah. I liked Avatar a lot. Avatar's great.
2, 3, and 4 are coming out.
There should be coming out anytime. They kept pushing back the date. I think it's next year, though, now.
No, it's next year for the first one.
Right.
They got one coming every year for like 4 years.
He's been working on it for a while. And I have no idea what the story is going to be. Do you?
No.
I have no idea where he's going with it. And I don't want to know. I just want to go in blind. Well, I remember the first time I saw Avatar. It is like...
It's mind-blowing.
It's a visual delight. It's like, oh my God.
Mind-blowing.
It is just unbelievable.
If you remember, that's when the TVs were changing, and that was like,
let
me show you how much color we can get on
I watched it at
TVs.
home, with my surround and my, my big screen. I was like, holy cow, this movie's off the charts.
Worst movie ever to watch on surround sound. I'll never forget. I came home one night. I was drunker than a skunk. It was hilarious, but sitting there, and I hooked up my surround sound system for the first time ever, and I put Twister in. The room starts spinning. I'm so drunk I can't turn, like I turn the TV off, but the sound's still on. Turn the sound on, but the TV pops on.
Because you're hammered.
I finally just walk over and I rip the whole power strip out of the wall. I just fall there and lay down.
Shut up.
This movie's going to make you throw up.
The room has to quit spinning now.
I'll tell you, I think you're forgetting about one, Rick. Snow Dogs?
No. Nice try.
So, a little backstory to that. A couple of years ago, Rick was talking about a movie. Was it Eight Below?
Yeah.
Right? And it's a dog movie. And it's pretty good. It's got a good story to it. But he was a little drunk, and he was confusing that movie with Snow Dogs. And Snow Dogs is terrible.
Yeah, Snow Dogs on like a classic list.
He was going on about how good Snow Dogs was, and we were just letting him go. And so ever since then, whenever you want to get the reg, you're like, oh yeah, Snow Dogs, man, that's classic. So
yeah, whatever.
Snow Dogs, that was great.
That's like shooting a 5. It's just one of the things.
Yep. Is there anything else you want to finish with, Rick, before we go off air here? I think we had a good time tonight.
Yeah, it's a nice studio down here and everything. It's like actually having to come to work, though.
Yeah, a little bit.
But no, it's nice. It's comfortable. But
hopefully next week we're going to have some extra Fireball here.
Yeah, well,
I texted her, but I didn't hear back from her. So
they said they might show up afterwards.
Earl, Deb.
Earl's trying to get some.
It's just
Deb.
It's Deb. Deb's the one that made the bet.
But Earl's listening, you said. So
Earl's listening,
make sure you remind Deb to bring the Fireball, because not only did Cincinnati not cream Cleveland, it was a total other way around.
Oh yeah, it should be a double bet.
Right.
Like you got dominated.
That's a double jug of Fireball.
But yep, that's everything pretty much. We had a pretty good show down here. I like this place. It's a break from the norm.
Yeah. So next week we should be back at the Windsor.
Yep.
You can tune in at 9:30 p.m. every Sunday. Catch the replay later this week on SKO Radio Network. And you guys got anything else?
No, I think that's a wrap. So we appreciate you guys tuning in tonight, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. And we'll see you next week. Have a great week. Hopefully you guys had a good holiday too.
Bye.